right, folks. We're just 2 minutes away from the show we've all been waiting for, The Lion's Den. You know it's about to be crazy, interesting, and downright hilarious tonight. If you've been here before, you already know why this is one of the few shows that keeps you glued to the screen the entire time. The host, fearless. What can I say? The man's a legend. Handsome, well-built, and an intellectual powerhouse. Quick-witted doesn't even begin to describe him. This guy handles every topic like a pro and never misses a beat. And you can't forget Keenal from Black Man Travels. Deep thinker, always dropping knowledge, bringing those big conversations that really make you sit back and reflect. He's all about opening up your mind to new perspectives. Oh, and when Ronan steps in, it's a whole different vibe. The man brings balance, discipline, and humor all wrapped into one. He's the kind of guy that can crack you up 1 second and drop wisdom the next. This is grown folks talk. No nonsense, no drama. Just real, respectful conversations. They get into the deep stuff, but they always respect everyone's viewpoint. You can trust the Lion's Den to bring real, unfiltered, adult conversations with that perfect mix of intellect and fun. You've got your popcorn ready, right? Because in just about a minute, this place is gonna light up. Get comfortable, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and make sure you're locked in. Let's go. The Lion's Den is about to start.
All right, it's almost time. I've been waiting for this all week. Is it just me, or does time slow down when you're waiting for the Lion's Den to start?
Come on, let's go. I got things to say tonight. I'm ready to hop on the panel. You better have subscribed already. If you haven't hit that subscribe button and smashed the like by now, what are you waiting for? You gotta support the Den, people.
Hit that notification bell too, unless you want to miss out and hear about it later.
This is the show you don't want to miss. Every week I'm here waiting. The energy, the conversations, is about to get real.
Tick tock, I swear this is the longest minute of my life.
Tick tock, tick tock. The panel tonight's gonna be fire. I can feel it. Who's joining tonight? Let's go. Hit that subscribe button already.
Yo, grab your popcorn, grab your drink. It's about to go down. You're not ready for what's coming. I got my snacks, my drink,
And I'm locked in.
Let's get this show started.
All right. Quiet down. The show's about to start. Everyone ready?
Silence. The Lion's Den is about to begin. Let's go.
All right. Well, welcome to the night's podcast. We got an interesting person here today. Neo, he is stationed in Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, and he has an interesting story that has happened to him. He's going to tell us his story, what happened. Maybe we can learn from it, go from it, punch some holes in it, and see where we can go from there. Neo, welcome to the podcast, sir. I think we'll put your page into the chat along with some ways to help you out after everyone hears this story that maybe we can help each other out. So go ahead, sir.
Real quick, there is a QR code at the top right-hand corner of the screen. That is for his PayPal to give him assistance. So if you brothers and sisters that are listening want to help him out while he's telling his story, and as we're going through this live, just simply scan the QR code and go ahead and hook him up with a PayPal. He'd really appreciate it. And a little goes a long way. So thank you very much. And go ahead, Neil.
Hey, I appreciate that. And just to go off of what you just said, I'm very much in a stage of gratitude and appreciation to have me on the show, for everyone that's helped me in the period of time that I've been going through what I'm going through. I really have a desire to give some value, share not only the experience, but more so how to prevent other brothers from going through this experience. I have looked at hundreds and hundreds of these videos over the last 6 years of living here in Colombia, and nothing like this has ever been discussed, if I'm just being honest. So, I appreciate the assistance, but know that my goal is to provide everyone that's watching and listening some value for the assistance. So that said, yeah, I was drugged and robbed in Medellin. That's not a title that we haven't heard before. I feel like we're all accustomed to hearing that. The difference, though, is that I do live here. Like, I live here. My asking for assistance is not to get me back to the United States. I live here. I do not have problems with money. I have money. I, however, do not have access to my money, which is a very different problem. And again, I live here. So all of that said, I'm opening a supplement shop. It's called Titan Nutrition. You guys can share there. You don't have to share. It doesn't really matter. But I was running interviews last week, Thursday. I had 4 interviews on the slot. at the gym where we were opening up the supplement shop. 3 of those women, they had their schedules, they had their times, they all showed up. Everything was great. There was one particular single mom that kept changing the hour for which she needed her interview. She had challenges with her kid in school, then the kid was sick, and the baby daddy could. It was just one problem after another problem after another problem. And I changed the interview time with her 3 times. Now, by the time she changed it the 3rd time, I had spent the entire day away. I was like, look, I can't make this time right now. I've got to go back to my apartment. My dog is waiting for me. If you follow me anywhere on social media, you will know I've been training police and military canines for the last 25 years. I have a dog that travels with me all over the world. He does not leave my side other than when it's necessary. And I had to take him out. That's my son. That's my responsibility. And so I was like, look, I'm going to go back to my apartment. We can do this interview time, but it's going to have to be there. Now, in my apartment building, I have security. It's a high-rise apartment building. It's not like one of these lower class apartment buildings that you see in other places in Colombia. And we have a zone for co-working. Like, there are a ton of people that have meetings at my apartment complex every day. This is a normal occurrence. So for me, all we did was change locations. No big deal. This girl gets there. She still gets there late, but she hands her ID to the security guard, signs her name in, and she has to sign in, give her security, all that stuff to come into the building. She comes into the building. We go up to the co-working space, and we start with the interview. Now, I am in a new building. There's new construction. There's been issues with different things that have happened the last 3 weeks. And at this point in time, they're like, hey, listen, we've got to close this down. We've got this to do, that to do, and the other thing to do. And the interview is not done. It's barely getting started. So my idea at this point in time was, if you're okay with it, you know, she's normal, small, petite. She's there for an interview. She gives her ID. I'm like, if you're okay with it, we can go back to my apartment and finish the interview there. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, man, why would you have her in your apartment? That's not the mistake. That is a mistake, but that wasn't the mistake. The mistake was, you're interviewing for me, and if you can't show up to work on time, you can't work for me. So why did I change your interview times 3 times and think it was still okay to give you an interview is really the question that should have been asked. But in either case, I digress. We go in my apartment. First thing I do is turn all the lights on in my apartment, let her know that there's nobody there so she can feel comfortable and safe, and we can proceed with the interview. Now, my apartment is 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. I have a balcony, kitchen, etc. And there's a bar in my kitchen that separates the kitchen from the living room. I sit down on the bar, and it's regular seats. Like, we're not sitting on a couch. I'm not giving her food. There's no entertainment going on. I literally just sit down and proceed to continue with talking and discussing the gym location, what we're going to do differently, how we do the supplements, all that kind of stuff. I remember her leaving to go to the bathroom, which again is normal. And honestly, after that, after like the first 15 minutes into this interaction, I don't remember a whole lot. Complete honesty. It was really one of those, like, I can put it together and kind of piece through, like, I know it's raining outside. I have a vague idea of the hour, but aside from her going to the bathroom and her coming back, I don't remember a whole lot. And the next thing for me that became very clear was the 6 cops in my 1 bedroom waking me up for dear life. And I mean, like, homeboy was shaking my body. And I remember at that point in time thinking, why are there 6 Colombian police officers in my bedroom? Like, I remember that being the question, like what the fuck is going on that you guys are here? And, you know, they're like, hey, you know, you were with a woman last night. You know, what happened? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, I wasn't with a woman last night. Like, for me, I'm literally like, you guys need to fill me in. I'm not understanding why you're here, why you're in my apartment. And, you know, I remember walking out of my apartment. I'm just like I am right now, fully dressed. I walk out of my apartment and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? My spare bedroom is disheveled. Now, I am an OCD neat freak. My spare bedroom is disheveled. But other than that, that's the only thing that seems out of place. So I'm still kind of like, I'm not understanding it. And now I'm looking around and I'm starting to see things missing. And the first thing I realize is missing is my backpack. Now I have a big Peak Performance 45-liter travel camera bag, and it's not there. And then I walk into the spare bedroom and I look at what is my comforter and a couple towels tied together. And I'm like, I'm just like, I'm not understanding this. I'm like, well, listen, you were robbed. You need to go through a list of what was taken. You need to let us know and then file a police report. And I'm still very much like, I'm not understanding this, but you're telling me this, I'm registering this, and my dog is whining. So I'm like, let's go for a walk. So I take him out, I put his stuff on, and we walk. Now I have no phone, I've got no wallet, I've got no nothing. We're just walking. And as we're walking, I'm literally just trying to process the whole situation. And we end up at this cafe. Now, this cafe is close to where I used to live. I know the cafe owner. I was not going there. I just ended up there. And I got there. Her name is Mayra Alejandra. And I explained to her the whole situation. She gives me espresso. She knows I love espresso. She gives me espresso. We continue the conversation. I spend literally the entire day at this coffee shop with my dog, with her. She gives me breakfast. She gives me lunch. She gives me this phone. This is an iPhone 6, people. First off, I'm an Android guy, so it's kind of difficult using this phone. But she gives me this phone. I proceed to say thank you. I was able to contact my banks, not with this phone, but with her phone. And nothing had been taken out of my bank accounts. We got everything shut down. And I proceeded to go home. I go back to the apartment. I'm still very much uneasy, very unclear of everything that happened. And I'm just kind of in this numb state, honestly, just really, really numb. I had a friend that came over. You guys know Neos Poly. I had 2 girlfriends. And, you know, I called them like, listen, this is what happened. They're confused by it. You know, they're like, huh? Wait, why? All of these things. They had a lot of questions I couldn't answer. And that was it. That was like the night, Friday night. I wake up Saturday. I'm still not remembering a whole lot. I still feel really uneasy. And at this point in time, my one girl is like, hey, you should go get checked out. So I go to the Certa clinic here, which is free. They give me a blood panel. They give me two bags of IV drips. And I spend pretty much the morning, afternoon there, still trying to kind of recollect everything. And then they tell me, you know, I had scopolamine in my system. I had ketamine in my system. I had cocaine in my system. And I had some other drug that they mentioned, and I don't remember what it was, but it started with a C. And, you know, they're asking me all these questions. I'm like, I don't know. Now, the first time it started making a little bit of sense to me was when I'm having the conversations with the medical staff there, and they're just like, you know, because I was like, I didn't drink anything, I wasn't eating anything. And they're like, well, you don't need to have any of that. They could put it in an aerosol. Like, it's literally aerosol, and depending on what they had in the aerosol is whatever you ingest, and you would never know it. And still, for me, I'm like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But as they explained it, it's not like they give you some monster dose unless you're drinking. You know, it's usually step by step. So honestly, the question I still have right now is, did she do it when she entered the building? Because the thing that I can't understand is why she left and security didn't stop her. Like, the security guard saw her leaving and didn't stop her. And I still don't understand that. Now, what I do know from the facts, she took my cameras, my money, my wallet, my passport, all of these things, put it in this bag, and she created a rope, like you'd see somebody trying to escape from prison, out of the sheets in the spare bedroom. Now, I live on the 27th floor, so I can only imagine that with the queen-size bed I have in this bedroom, you know, we're talking 12 feet. 12 feet, 4 stories, you know, or 2 stories, you know, based on 6-foot ceilings. It's not a lot. And from that, she dropped my bag. Now, the security guard, and on the video footage, you can see she drops this bag from, let's just call it 20 stories, and he hears it hit the ground outside. Boom. He tells me he heard this noise, gets up from the porteria, the desk where he's at, goes outside and sees a man on a motorcycle pick up the bag and put it on. Now, they got this on video. They see the license plate is clear on the video. And when he goes out, he tells me she goes out behind him. Now, this is the thing for me. It's still hard to understand. The entrance to this building is glass, right? So I'm still not understanding how she leaves and goes out behind you. You see this, and then you don't stop her. Like, it's clear that none of this is working properly. So, like, why haven't you stopped her? The question may be, was he working with her? I don't believe so, but I also can't confirm that. You know, like I don't know. But that's it. They leave with all my stuff. Now, I get all of this information, put all these stories together, pieces together. We're talking Saturday night. Now, Saturday night, I understand now at this point in time, I'm a little bit more thinking clearly and everything. And I'm like, I need to find out if I can find them. You know, I spent some time in law enforcement, so I know how to look through and find people. I look at my phone and I'm like, I got Google accounts. Every one of your Google accounts, when you're signed in, it'll show you the devices and where they're signed in at. I have literally 26 Google accounts on this one phone. So I'm like, let's go through some of the Google accounts. One, I'm going through the accounts and changing all the passwords, but I'm able to look and locate exactly where the phone is and when it was turned on. Now, they turned the phone on. They could not access the phone, which is why they did not take the money out of my bank account. So most of the time, when you guys are listening to these stories about people drugged and robbed in Medellin, they will tell you they took significant money out of their accounts. And the reason for that is they could access the phone. I did not have, and I don't have, and I'll never have Face ID, where you just put a phone in front of someone's face and it opens. You need to use my thumb. Not my index finger, but my thumb. So all of that said, my accounts were secure. That's good. But I was able to find the address for the phone. Now, I find the address and I'm like, okay, that's great. This is Saturday night. There is a huge football game on Saturday night, and holiday is on Monday. So on Sunday, I know that people are going to be hungover, they're going to be drinking, all of these things are happening. My thought process is, if I can get with the police, we can get early, go over there, and get my stuff back. Well, I get up early, call the police, they come to the building, and then they tell me, listen, you've got to go there. Don't go to the address, but go close, and then call 911 or 123, which is the 911 number, for the local guys over there to arrive. By the time all of this gets coordinated, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody's there. Nobody's answering the door at this place, and there's multiple apartments in this area. We were able to talk to some of the neighbors, confirm that the chick that I'm talking to, that I remember seeing, who had braces and the whole 9 yards, lives in this one apartment, and it's her with one other woman and 3 guys. I do not know if they do this for a living. This is all that they do. Some people have asked me and said, you know, it really could have been a thing from an opportunity. But the reality is, I don't know. I don't know if it was a thing of opportunity or if it was a thing planned. The job interviews were scheduled and posted on Facebook. So you knew it was going to be in the South, which is where most of the tourists are. And you can see my last name is Johnson. So you know that I'm not from Colombia. So that could have actually been something that targeted me, and all of this could have been targeted. Somebody said something on the chat. I didn't see it.
Don't worry about the chat. Just tell your story.
All right. So that's in a nutshell what's happening where I'm at. Now, where I'm at this current time is I'm waiting on Bank of America and SoFi. Those are the only 2 banks I use to be able to. Now, I have 2-factor authentication. I have, you can scan, send me a number, and verify those things. None of that works when you do not have those items. The phone number that I'm talking to, that I've connected to my WhatsApp, that I've messaged you guys through, is a Google Voice number. I can show that if people would like to see that, but it is a Google Voice number. Anyone that needs to know, your bank will not use a Google Voice number to send confirmations. You need to have an actual number located. Now, what I did not know at this point in time is my local Colombian number, I have through Claro, but it's a prepaid number. So whenever I run out of data, I buy another one. I don't have a monthly plan. So for that reason, I haven't been able to reclaim my number. So I've had to create new social media accounts for the social media accounts that have my 2FAs. I have not been able to confirm my things with my banks. And anyone that has Bank of America, they will tell you, if something like this happens, they will send you, if you request a new account number, they'll obviously send you a new debit card, but they're going to send you a new confirmed PIN to that address in order for you to activate and access those things. So I am currently in the process of waiting on all of those things to arrive, first in the US, 3 separate mail items. Then when they arrive in the US, that then has to get forwarded to me here in Colombia. In the meantime, I have $0, 0 pesos. That's it. So yes, I have money, but I don't have access to it. I have no access to my money, which has created a hell of a problem. I mean, even me here in this interview, the guy that's letting me use his computer, he sent me an Uber to get here. Ronan, you remember me telling you this morning, I was like, listen, brother, I was going to have a girl. She was bringing me a laptop. I was going to be able to use her laptop in my apartment. She told me she didn't have the money to bring it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I told you I worked the problem. This is the solution. But that's been the thing. I'll answer any questions anybody has on the story, but I really want to talk about, I have a life coach. I have a therapist. I had therapy and life coaching yesterday. I always have it on Thursdays. And, you know, we talked about how I got to this point, because the reality is, you know, and my best friend said the same thing. She was like, Neo, you've been in Colombia, and I get it, but like you've had different issues with different things at different times, and I don't know if you're realizing it, but like, dude, this is a different problem, but it's still a problem, and you're not one that usually has problems in life in general. So like, dig into that. And I really want to spend more time talking about one, the people that have been so gracious to help me here in Colombia, because everyone is not as shitty as this person and the people that have thieved, robbed, and steal from people. And two, the aspect of the mindset that gets you into a position to make decisions that you otherwise would not make. Like again, if you want to work for me, you're not rescheduling an interview 3 times. I'm not hiring anybody that has to reschedule an interview 3 times. So the fact that I even took sympathy on, oh, I'm a single mom and this happened and that happened, I don't give a, like that's not the issue. So ask questions if you like. The panel has questions, let me know. That's where I'm at. That's the story.
Yeah.
We can kind of go from there.
So I heard your story already, so I'm waiting for these other 2 gentlemen to kick in. Fearless and then Black Man Travels, both are avid. Well, Black Man Travels more so. Has been to Colombia hundreds of times. Just came back from a outstanding trip in Cali, Colombia. He loves to brag about that. For
Cali's one of my favorite places here in Colombia.
That was out there. So I'm gonna let these gentlemen ask their questions first, and then obviously, if you guys want to open up the panel, we can do that. I want to be cognizant of his time. Again, while we're doing this, if you guys would like to help out Neo, there's a barcode at the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you could scan that and send him a couple dollars, it is a PayPal account, so he'll be able to get that money quickly from the person that's getting it. I don't want to disclose the person's name. She wants a little bit of privacy. That's why we changed it to this new barcode. You're muted right now, Neo. I don't know why, but you're muted. And then Black Man Travels, go ahead. No, we're not going to open the panel right away. You need to go ahead and ask your questions without interruption. This is our panel, so we're going to have the first ability to ask him questions. I know a lot of people have the same questions, and from the Andrew show and before, the biggest thing is, even when you were on QB Passport show, you were pretty adamant about your polyamorous relationship, and the fact that you have multi businesses, and everybody on this panel, believe me, we have multiple businesses. So we're all on that level. One, being in a polyamorous relationship, for me, I thought that the women that you are in the relationship with live with you, not they live somewhere else. Is that not the case with your relationship and the way you guys have it arranged, or what?
That is not the case at this point in time, no. And that just happened. So like this building, like I said, I told you it was 3 weeks that we've been having issues with construction. I just moved buildings. And I moved buildings because we were living together, but close to the daughter of the girlfriend's school. And for me, it's not where I wanted to be. I wasn't comfortable there. We were in a barrio that, was getting close to the school, but not something I was comfortable in. And so we're making transitions. I'm like, I'm going to be here. This is what's going to happen. This is what we're doing. And then you guys can kind of figure out what's necessary and make your adjustments as needed. And so, no, for the last couple of weeks, it has been me here by myself and them there.
Okay. And then one of the other questions I would have, one of the other questions I would have is, we talk about developing a circle of friends, of family, and people that you have great rapport with, especially if you've been in country for so long. And I know you utilize some of your resources, like your braider and your barber. Or, I mean, you should have business people that you're associated with that know of good faith that, if you can spot me, they know they're getting that money back as soon as you get your situation fixed. Nobody that you have right now in the 5 years was able to even help you. Like, I got boys right now, man. If I say, nah, I need you to drop me about 300 right now, I'll hit you back. They know guaranteed they're getting that money. You get what I'm saying? So without question, they would just spot me and go ahead and send me the money, because they know if I ask, I'm stuck in a pickle. And I would do the same for them. So that's what I would say. Why, if you have that kind of relationship for 5 years, you've been there, you didn't have anybody you could actually literally lean on.
So you're asking two questions. The first question is here, which is definitely different than in the U.S.
Right.
And the second answer to the question is my friends in the U.S. So my friends in the U.S., I'm recently divorced. When I say recently divorced, it's been 2019. I got divorced and came here. And so that really divided a lot of our friends. And the biggest issue with friends that I've reached out to is, well, the wife is like, I don't know. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. I can't. It's to Colombia. And all I've gotten is a bunch of lip service that hasn't resulted in anyone being able to actually do anything. Now, I do have some friends that have helped because that's the only reason I'm actually here at this point in time, and Karen being one of them. As far as the people here in Colombia, bro, these people are business owners, yes, but they're not. They're employees. My biggest thing, and the reason I haven't opened up my business yet, is because I've just been helping business owners here understand what actually owning a business is. Because most people are just trading their time for money, and they're not successful. They do not have unlimited resources, or I should say room in their resources and finances to be able to help with those things. They are still very much business owners living paycheck to paycheck. And with the amount to say, yeah, we could give you some food, but not enough to actually help me with anything. So, unfortunately, no. There are plenty of people that are willing to help them, but it's just not at a help at the level that needs to be.
Right. Okay.
I'm confused because you just said you helping people with businesses, but previously you said you had the businesses. So is it that you have it or you help?
I haven't opened my business yet because I've been helping other businesses. So like one of my businesses is and I run social media accounts for over 1,000 different social media accounts in my marketing agency. So here in Colombia, the whole reason I came was to open a coffee farm. The coffee farms are where the coffee shops have in the U.S. Now, in doing that, I have met other business owners like the coffee shop owner, Maida, who helped me with this. I have a friend that's an orthodontist who did my teeth. Like, I have different business owners that are friends, but they don't really understand how to do business. They sit in a location and they hope people come to it. And I'm like, let me show you how you actually draw a crowd.
Wait a second.
Fearless.
Because the thing is, then you having a credit card or you having that, where's your money coming from? If you don't have a business, where's your money stream coming from?
What do you mean if you don't have a business, where's your money stream coming from?
So I don't know. Let's start it. Do you have a business? Because you just said you help people with a business. So you don't have a business.
Brother, I'm talking about opening my business in Colombia. I have 13 businesses.
No, but he's saying something. He's saying something.
Any businesses.
Hold on one at a time. Let him get down.
I don't have the physical location for Titan Nutrition will be the first physical business location open here.
Right. So you have businesses.
I have businesses outside of Colombia. Yes. Right.
So that means you have a money stream.
I do. And the money stream still goes to those accounts currently right now. I cannot access that money, but yes, the money is still going to.
So I'm having a problem with that because I have a Bank of America. I have a Bank of America credit card.
I don't have any credit cards, but go ahead.
All right. So what do you have? A Bank of America what?
I have Bank of America accounts. I use a debit card. I don't use credit cards for anything. I haven't since college.
So here's the thing. I just even looked this up because I was curious. Okay. If you are traveling international, advise them and they will FedEx you a replacement card.
If you are traveling internationally, that's true. I do not travel internationally.
But you're international. So all you have to do is call them and say, I am in Colombia. I don't have my card. So two things. One, can you FedEx me a new card? Two, so do you have any credit cards? So you're saying you don't have no credit?
I don't use credit cards. I use debit cards only.
All right. So in any way, you can still do virtual accounts with those cards because it's still
an account. How can you do a virtual account if you can't get into the accounts? See, this is the thing that people don't understand. When you call Bank of America and they're going to ask you this, and they do this every time you get on the phone, they're going to say, okay, we're going to send you a verification PIN to this number. Please read that PIN back to me.
Correct. Or you can have it emailed. They'll ask you the same thing. You can do an email.
If you can't access those things, which I can't access.
So you can't access your email either?
I can't because when I try to access my email account right now through Google, which is my new app freeyourmind.store, they send a verification over to access it because it's from a device I've never used before. And when they send that over, they send it to the number that I can't access. So I can't get.
So how does helping you with any money help you get anywhere? Meaning
You
you'll
can't
still
help me
be in the
with any
same.
money. That's why this is going to my friend, because she's paying for my Airbnb currently.
No,
Because
let's just say you found your. Let's just say you bought a new phone. You got a new phone. How does that help you?
the buying the new phone is not for the helping me of the accounts. The buying of the new phones is so that I'm not in a hostel trying to do this video recording with you. The buying of the new phone is so that.
So how can you ever get access to your accounts?
They're going to send me 3 items. They're going to send me a PIN to my mailing address. They're going to send me a new account packet with the new account numbers to that address. And then they're going to send the new debit card to that address.
So you are over there in Colombia with no credit cards. How do you have a business with no credit card, with no credit?
Brother, first off, you don't need
that makes no sense. Here's why it makes no sense. The worst thing you can ever have traveling is an ATM card, because if anybody steals your ATM and your PIN card, you lose everything. There is no, oh, I lost it. You lose everything. If you have a credit card, you lose everything in your account. Everything.
Listen, I agree with you, but that's also why I have 20 characters. That's also why no one has taken money out of my account. And that's also why I haven't been in this situation before. Like, brother,
you have a 20 character PIN?
20 to get into my phone, yeah.
No, to get into your ATM.
Get into my phone. To get into my phone.
I'm saying, so how will you ever get into it? Meaning you're still going to be in the same situation. One, but why would you have an ATM card only? Because that means you're only dealing with cash. And that means if somebody steals your ATM, they can wipe you out and there's no recourse. And just to let you know, Ronan, that the QR code is not working. I tried. It goes somewhere else. Yeah.
I'll drop the link in the chat then. And
so
you guys,
listen, to answer your question, Fearless, one of the things that I always recommend to everyone that travels is to lock your debit card in the app. And the reason I always tell that to people is because what they do here in a lot of places is they will take you to an ATM and tell you to take out your money. And I've said this on a couple of videos. Now, if you lock your card in, for instance, Bank of America app, and you lock your card and you go to an ATM and you put your valid PIN in, what it will tell you to do is there's an issue with your financial institution and please call them. Now, if your card is, that. Wait, you're asking me, I'm trying to explain to you. So now my cards are always locked so that if for some reason I would get forced to go to an ATM and try to enter it, I could enter my PIN and it will tell me call it financial institution. If you don't have it that way and you put in a PIN incorrectly, it's going to say you've entered your incorrect PIN, and that'll get you pistol whipped, maybe to get you killed or whatever else. But that is the reason why I'm never worried about someone taking my phone and accessing my accounts because the cards are locked. So you'd have to take my phone and my wallet. Now,
so every time you go to the ATM, you go. All right.
I go into
every
the
time you go to the ATM, you go to the app to unlock your ATM
100%
card.
of the time.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
why not just get a credit card?
But it's the reason why my money's still in my account.
Why not just have a credit card?
Listen, I have locked my ATM card, so that is very true. There's certain banks
that
allow you to lock.
He locks his ATM card every time he goes to the bank, and then unlocks it, and then locks it back every time you get a transaction.
Right?
No, not every time I go to the bank, brother. Every time I use my phone to pay someplace, I lock it every single time. If I'm on the line at the grocery store, it takes 30 seconds to open the app with your thumb, hit unlock and pay for something and lock it back. And it's the reason why they did not drain my bank accounts. And it's the reason why if you steal my wallet, my card is no good to you. It's the reason why if you steal my phone and my wallet, they're still no good to you. Like, it's literally the reason why that's not my issue.
So what happens when you get a phone? How are you still going to access everything if everything is on your phone with a 20-digit encryption?
The only reason I have asked and said anything about getting a phone was so that I could be on Drew's show this morning with audio.
But no, hold up. Your phone is locked. Your phone locked your ATM card. So you getting another ATM card. How does that help you out? Because it's still going to be locked.
You're talking about two different things. You're talking about two different problems. I had never asked anybody to give me a phone to access money. I have never said I needed a phone so I could access money. The only reason I've said I needed a phone was so that I could have these conversations, communications, and use social media. I created a new Instagram account. It's called Neo version 3.14. I cannot get into my other accounts. And the only reason I've said that is because, again, my TikTok, I can't access. I have views on that. I am able to talk and communicate and share the problem, the story, with my followers. That's the reason I need a phone. This phone is not doing me any good because it doesn't have any audio, so I can't actually share anything. And let me just so that we're good on this.
No, but beyond that, if you're saying you're not needing, so you're saying you're not needing funds. If you don't need funds, why would we be doing it?
I don't need funds. You can't send funds to me. That's why the QR code is not to my PayPal account.
It's going to somebody else's.
No. What I'm saying is, you still need money.
Yeah, brother, I still do need money, but I don't need it. I need her to have it because she's taking care of everything for me. I don't 100%. You know something about living in Colombia? Let's just say that I still had my ID, my passport, and all of that stuff. And I said, hey, brother, can you send me some cash for Western Union? You know that after 90 days in country, you can't even get and accept cash at Western Union in Colombia.
How can't you?
Because you need a 3-month stamp on your passport. If you have not had a stamp within 3 months of being in the country, you cannot accept cash at Western Union.
I've never seen that happen. I've seen Zelle go to the page. I've seen that.
Zelle, you're talking about virtual things that I still can't access. I'm talking about if you try to send cash to pick it up. If you right now were like, yo, brother, I'm gonna send you some cash, and I had an ID, I couldn't go get it without a passport and a stamp in 3 months. You could look that up.
So you don't have your passport,
brother. I'm not asking for cash. That's why this whole.
But I'm saying, if I did have a passport, the first thing I would do is go to the embassy, and I would have the embassy issue me a new passport with a new stamp. Then that solves that problem.
Well, I am waiting on a new passport from the embassy, but it's still not going to have a stamp on it until I leave and come back. And what I'm telling you is the Colombian law will not allow you to get a Western Union cash pickup without it having a stamp within the last 90 days of you entering the country. And the reason for that is the visa timeline. And trust me, if you stay here for 6 months and you haven't left to come back, it's the same problem. But it doesn't matter.
You're illegally in there. So you haven't left. I thought being there 5 years, you would be more like a resident. So you just overstayed a visa?
You're talking about something that has nothing to do with nothing. My visa, being able to be here and being able to accept cash without a 90-day stamp are two very different things. I have the ability to be here, yes. The other question you should ask me, which you haven't asked me yet, is why don't you have a Colombian bank account, Neo? Why don't you ask me that?
If a brother's only using an ATM, I can't go beyond you getting an account. ATM already stopped me because
you know why I don't have a Colombian
I would think
account?
Would have a credit card.
You know why I don't have a Colombian bank account?
I don't know. I don't know why you don't have a credit card. That would be the first thing. If you got 13
I don't have a credit card because I paid myself to get the card.
Hold on. Let's pause for a second for the cause. It's Jay Clyde lives in Colombia and Medellin area, and he goes, now that's true about Western Union here.
You're not getting anything but the truth from me right now.
Well, I get that, and I want everybody to take a breath because the super chats are starting to come in, and we need to take a chance on reading some of these guys that are supporting the channel. So we're gonna take a break here, and we're gonna read a couple of these super chats. Everybody get a little drink, take a little pause. We're gonna get into these questions here. He said, Darnell said, thank you for the $5 super chat, Darnell, always supporting the channel. Just joined. How much did I miss? Did I guess he talked about the story of the girl who was attempting to hire? Support Ronan's fun. 9 more because I have a thing going on. Philippines or bust because I'm about to leave. Appreciate that. Yes, he did talk about the story of why he was interviewing her. Second super chat from Darnell. Thank you again. We don't have an overseas phone plan.
Well, why don't he have an overseas?
Yeah, why don't you have an overseas phone plan, especially if he owns his own businesses? And so if you want to go ahead and answer that, why don't you have a overseas phone plan?
Your overseas phone plan has to tick a tower in the U.S. every 3 months. I had Google Fi when I first left the country, and I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing because you can leave from one country and not hit another country. You can do that. But if you're not hitting the U.S. tower in the United States every 3 months, they deactivate the phone. So that's why. Now, if you don't hit a tower in the United States and you leave from a United States plan on Google Fi, they cut the phone line. So it doesn't work anymore.
Google.
3 months. Okay. Yeah, Google. Now, my workaround for that is Google Voice, which is why my WhatsApp is my Google Voice number. And again, I can show you Google Voice. I use Google Voice. I have no problems being able to interact and use Google Voice. My issue right now is not being able to make phone calls. The issue is that the phone I have does not have a working microphone and audio.
Yeah, because you're using the iPhone 6. I understand you're using the iPhone 6. You explained that already.
Yeah,
okay, so All right, and then we're going to get to this final super chat from Drew. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I think we have to give him grace because he has never been robbed before. He has not lost any money and needs some temporary cash flow. I appreciate that, Drew. Thank you for the heads up on that. And I agree. Everybody makes a mistake. It's a learning process, and it don't matter whether you're in a country for 5 years, 10 years, you can still get got. So that's part of the point of having this interview, beside for picking out the little details, is understanding that it don't matter how long you've been in country. You still not a native there. You're not ever going to belong there 100%. And you do need to watch your back from time to time. But
then that goes to my question on this.
Go ahead.
If you and Polly, you got a few women. I got one woman that if anything happens to me, she got my back. Gonna take care of me, gonna cook for me every day, gonna do that. You got two women. You shouldn't be hungry at all. Your two women should be your support staff, where they can take care of everything for you.
I agree with you on that statement. You wanna dive into that?
Yeah, why are you hungry?
So the reality is that I don't look at my value as much. So I've been divorced twice. My first wife was extremely physically abusive. I got out of that marriage, no big deal. I got married to my second wife. My second wife I was married to for 7 years. She didn't work not one time. Not one time. We got divorced because I came home once after doing a 16-hour shift and burying one of my favorite dogs because she literally did not turn on an air conditioner to cool this dog who overheated in a building. And at that point in time, I realized, man, you're really not supporting me. Now, this tends to be my recycling issue, is not me understanding my value and accepting people less than that. So now these women in Neo's Poly, the whole reason that I left the apartment where we were and I'm in the apartment I'm in now is because I've been paying for their life for the last 7 months. Now, they're in college, they're in university, that's cool, but I'm paying for their life. And for me, dude, I focus on making more money. That's it. I'm only focused on making more money. So it's not bothering me. But the reality is I'm looking at and understanding that they're not working and doing the things that I need to. And Neo's Poly is a business before it's a relationship. And so I took my own space, created this. This is why we're here. But the reality is they can't support me. They can't help me. They can't do anything. Honestly, like they're not that.
But brother, they eating. They're eating. I'm not saying support you. You shouldn't be hungry, because if they making a big pot of rice and beans and chicken, that should be going straight to you. You should be getting some of that. So I'm not talking about paying a bill. I'm talking about feeding your stomach.
You know who's buying the rice, the beans, and the chicken?
Brother, that sounds like a long simp to me. I mean, I'm sorry to say it. If you paying for all of them,
you're not wrong.
If you paying for all of them and something happens to you, that's your fault, because you have two women that offer you no value. That all you're doing is just supporting a lifestyle.
You're not wrong. This is literally what I spent all day talking to my therapist and coach about yesterday. And my friend Karen told me the same thing. She's like, Neil, you keep putting yourself in these situations with women that aren't helping you. They can't help you. And they have no value. I mean, I'm not gonna share a text message of things she said, but you're 100. Listen, I don't disagree with you. I 100% agree with you. 100%. You're right. But that said, the only thing I can do now is make some course adjustments, because the reality is I shouldn't be in a situation where I don't have a support structure. But I'm used to not having a support structure. I said in my video yesterday, I got $57 from this group here, including Drew, and I had one of my friends send $75. You know that my entire family, I've got 3 sisters and a brother and 2 parents. And not one of them motherfuckers has even sent me a message to ask me if I'm okay. Now, there's reasons for that in that aspect of my family, but dude, that's the truth.
And I say this to mean no ill will. You might have an issue choosing friends and family. I know you can't choose your family, but if you have friends that aren't helping you, if you got 2 women in your life that aren't doing anything to you, I can't blame them. I have to say, brother, you don't have a good sense of choosing good people around you. Because just even in this group, when one of us went down, other people were there to help. And so, and this isn't like a lifelong, like people I grew up with. And if it's somebody who's going to spread their legs for me, who I'm doing something with, damn, when something happens the opposite way, I need it. I need help. And it just seems as though you're giving, but there's no value in that. As I would say to another person on another show, you need a ROI, man, a return on your investment. And right now, if you're investing, you know, it's going
Listen,
down like Tesla.
You're not wrong, brother. But if you look at the timeline, even if you just look at the timeline of the stories and the videos on my channel, like this is a repeating cycle. This is exactly what Ashley's my therapist's name. This is exactly what she said. She's like, Neil, I'm used to doing shit on my own. I am the type of person that's like, yo, put me in the corner, give me the pressure. I'm gonna problem solve because that's what I do. And the reality is, you're 100% right. I've now just had the shit hit the fan because I made an error that has left my ass out. And I don't have a support structure. That's why I'm sitting here on the show right now saying, y'all that don't know me, please help me. Because strangers are at 57 and my family and friends that I would think would have my back are at 0. That's 100% the truth.
I got two questions from what somebody put in. One was, how did you said you woke up and security was all around you trying to wake you up?
No,
how did they know this?
I said police.
Okay. Well, how did they know that something had happened to you or transpired? Because you said it was but you said it was like 8 hours later, the next day.
I didn't say how much time it was later because I don't know how much time it was later. I never said how much time because I can't account for time.
Well, if you brought her to your interview, I'm sure it was. Well, let's ask this: what time did the police wake you up? That would be. Let's start.
I honestly don't remember. I know that the sun was up and it was light outside. That's the only thing I can confirm in terms of the time.
So that means that you interviewed the person. I'm sure it wasn't. You interviewed the young lady in the daytime, the day before. Correct. If the sun came up, that's the next.
It was like 7. It was like 7, 8 o'clock.
So, if you said that the security guard seen the woman leave, and she left at night, why did it take 8 hours for the police to come? I'm gonna say 8 hours. Why did it take the next day for the police to come?
These are all great questions. That's the same thing I'd like to know. I'm still trying to figure out why the hell the security guard let her leave. Like these are very valid questions that I would like answered. I'd also like to know why it is that I've requested a police report for a week ago and I still don't have it. Like,
another question somebody asked was, you said you went home to take the dog out. So did you end up taking the dog out? And if not, you said it's a military dog. Why did the military dog let the police in? It seems like that's not a good guard dog.
The dog stays in a crate. And anybody that knows a military dog understands the dog is not left out. My dog stays in a crate. He's either in a crate or at my side. Those are the only two places. He always needs a job. So I did go home and take the dog out, but that was before the interview. That was the reason I didn't stay at where I was, because I had to go home and take the dog out. The next time I talk about taking the dog out is in the morning when the police had woken me up and he was whining, needing to go out. So that's it. But he was in the crate. That's also the only reason why this bitch was able to take all my stuff and throw it out the window, because he was.
That's another thing. If she threw it out, so I guess it was expensive equipment. You said she threw it out at bang, the security guard came. How did the chick get from the 25th floor to the first floor at the same time the security guard heard the noise?
27. I don't have the time frames for that. I'm telling you what he told me. He heard the bag hit the ground and went outside and told me she went out behind him.
So that's what I'm saying. She dropped the bag. How she dropped the bag, she run downstairs.
No.
And as soon as he hears it, and he walks out, she walks out.
Brother. I'm telling you what he told me, but this is also why I have those same questions. Because I don't understand, again, how you saw her come in with me, you saw her leave without me, and anything else in between needs to be why. Because again, you did see that this man took my bag, you realized the bag came from somewhere that wasn't here, and then this chick left without me. So these are all valid questions that I would like answered too, but it doesn't change the fact that, bro, I got to figure out how I'm paying for my Airbnb in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to understand why I'm trying to get the video released to the police, which I can't do without the police report, which they still have not given. And this is now 4 times that I have walked over to the police station, filed another report, and have said, hey, I need this released and sent over because I need the video footage so that they can enter in where I've already been. Because remember, I went to this location where my stuff is, and we could not enter the apartment because they didn't have any other reason other than me saying, look, my phone is pinged here, which is a general area, not a specific apartment. And in order for us to get the specific apartment, we need to be able to take the license plate number for them to say and validate this is the apartment and enter, which still hasn't happened. And now we're at a week later. So these are all great questions, brother. And if I was in the US, this would not be the case.
Right. Let me take a second real quick because I want to get something fixed. Your QR code is not working. The short version of it and the barcode I made, for some reason, it's taking you to some other link that's not
Yeah, it
actually
took it to another
PayPal.
link.
So I need you to fix that because people are actually wanting to give to you right now, and they're getting on me because the QR code is not working.
I'm sending you the link right now, brother. I'm gonna send it to
All
you
right,
right
send
now.
it to me in the back chat so I can just drop it. All right. And then after that, we'll go ahead and read these other super chats. And then Kanal's chiming in, and he has a few questions. Darnell has dropped in 2 $5 super chats. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and trying to hit my goal for my first 3 hours. $5 super chat says, that's a lie. I use AT&T in Afghanistan, and he said my phone wouldn't hit an American tower for a year at any time.
That may be a lie if I had AT&T. Next.
All right.
Listen to what I'm saying, people. I didn't say anything about AT&T.
And so, Darnell, the next question is, I have had a cell line in my plan that I didn't use for 3 years. AT&T never canceled. Okay, so the AT&T thing rings true. And I think T-Mobile just opened up an international thing where you can keep a T-Mobile phone even though you're overseas. I don't think there's a time limit because I'm about to switch to T-Mobile.
Why are people saying things that I have not said? Someone just said something about who said the bag will survive. I haven't looked at any of the things in the bag, so I don't know if the thing survived or not. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
I would say it was pretty nasty, especially. Here's the detail.
20 floors.
Listen. She stole his rice and pork and all this other shit that he had in the refrigerator. So I can imagine whatever that bag looked like after it impacted the ground. That shit was all over the place.
Legitimately,
he fucked that shit up.
What kind of sense does it make to drop a bag? Any type of. It had it had a computer in it. Let's just say just a computer. I'm not dropping a bag down a flight of steps.
I have a question.
But go ahead, Kamal, you're next. Yes.
All right, I have a question. Why did you leave your place and now that you're in an Airbnb, like another spot?
Say that again, brother. I'm sorry. It's loud. People talking. Why did I leave my place at Airbnb? What?
Why did you leave your place and you're now in another place? Why did you leave it if that was your apartment?
I'm confused by the question.
I guess have you always been where you got robbed at? Is that your Airbnb? Are you still in the same location or did you move locations?
No, I'm still in the same location. I've been here now for 3 weeks. This will be the 3rd week I've been here.
Okay, so here's the thing. And Kanal, maybe you missed it. He said he had recently moved from the place he had been for a long period of time because it was more in a barrio area and he just wasn't comfortable, even though it was closer to one of the polyamorous chicks that he was dating in their son or whatever.
Yeah,
so that was the detail, right? The daughter.
That just happened in January. So we moved in January at the end of the year to this. We went to Santa Marta. All this stuff is on social media. And when their university, which started now in February, their daughter going to school, we moved into a barrio in the south, in Envigado, which I did not like at all. I was in Bello before then. In Bello, I was still in a barrio, but really nice building. I've lived in Bello for the last 3 years. We moved to Envigado for the daughter. Daughter had to start school. They started university. After being in that apartment, which was just not where I was at, and them not working, and me saying, look, I'm not going to be uncomfortable. I mean, I literally was sleeping on top of my bed. Like, I was not comfortable. I moved into this apartment, which has been 3 weeks. So I hope that answers that question.
Okay. I don't see the link for the
I just sent it to you. It's in your.
Oh, you sent it to my WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, brother. I WhatsApp to you because
No, you're fine.
What's going on?
You're fine.
So let's say everything you say.
Wait.
How he answered.
Kanal, are you done? Because I know Kanal's been waiting. He builds up. You know how he is.
No, I'm done. I have no more questions. Thank you.
Okay.
So the question is, let's just say everything happened to you the way you said it. What advice would you give then? You've been in Colombia 5 years and you got scoped. Well, my other question is, I'm trying to figure out how you got scoped because usually it has to be transmitted through a drink. It has to be like skin to skin.
That's only what we think. That's what I was saying.
No, I just looked it up. How can you transmit?
The hospital staff said aerosol.
But
the hospital staff.
But how do you put cocaine in aerosol?
I'm telling you what they came up on the report from what they gave me from my blood test, and I can't remember what the drug name that they had with the C was something different and was long, but I didn't drink anything. I did not eat anything with her at all. And so, I mean, I don't want to say that she never touched my hand, but I can't see where she would have. Maybe in an elevator or something like that, but I don't remember that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, brother, your question is as good as mine, because that is the thing I can't answer. I've gone through the process of the why would I reschedule an interview 3 times, other than yeah, everybody's got problems here. I get it. You know, my girl is a single mom who I'm making her life a little bit more difficult. So like, I was in this kind of sentimental spot wanting to help her. I'm like, okay, cool. We could reschedule this interview and reschedule the interview. I get that. You know, I had homegirl come home one day. She took her jacket and threw it in the garbage at school. Like, kids do crazy things. So I was really empathetic with these stories. But the reality is, there's no reason that I should have rescheduled an interview 3 times, because if I got to do that for you for an interview, you can't come to work. Like, what if your shift is supposed to start and you got 3 different times that you're changing it up with the other like, these are the questions, you know, us going into the value aspect of, bro, why would you be married for 7 years with a woman that didn't earn not 1 cent? Not one, brother. I'm telling you, she never had a job.
That's fine. I wouldn't even, I don't question that. You can have a woman who does not earn anything, because I don't put value on what a woman makes. My value will be on what does she do, meaning
not turn on the air conditioner when the dog died.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that, but I'm saying, you know, the value, I would say, like with your other women, are they cooking for you? Are they? Because to me, it just seems like it's just a sexual thing. And I got.
Man, look, QB doesn't know the stories. I know Ulysses does, but I don't know if he's on. Listen, man, I can't share the stories of other people, because I just, it's not who I am. But all I can tell you is, I am 100% at fault for having 0 value and me giving 100%, and me not correcting my mindset and perspective on giving. Bro, listen to me. The child's 5 years old. I'd wake up in the morning earlier than I normally would wake up to make everyone breakfast, to pack this child's lunchbox, pack her dinner when she got home, and make sure that when the girls had different days of class schedules, early or late, that I made sure that they had a hot meal to eat before leaving. Brother, for that, I was not getting a lot of anything, okay? and it definitely wasn't sexually to equate for how much was being put out. It would have been much better used on a prostitute or prostitutes, if I'm being 100% honest.
So then my question would be the why. Meaning you know, you're in a place that brothers love to go to because they can get good women who are seen somewhat traditional. So my question would be why did you put up with that? Especially when it comes to 2 women. I can, you know, I'm not saying I understand 1 woman, but why did you put up with that? Let me correct it.
It wasn't 2, it was 3. It was 3.
But damn, that's even that don't help your story.
I had a producer. No, you're telling me it doesn't help the story, but it solidifies what I'm telling you, which is my misplaced value in myself. Like, this is not something, bro. Like, I talk about these things openly. If you look at some of the stuff on my channel, I talk about me looking at understanding. My word for 2023 was peace over everything, because I kept realizing I was giving my peace away to these things. You talk about Colombian women being traditional, which is very true, but Colombian women and paisas are 2 very different things. Paisas here in the area of Antioquia and outside of Antioquia are very different than the women in Cali, in Bogota, than the Rolas, than the other parts of Colombia. Extremely different. They're fucking lazy here. And anyone that's Colombian here will tell you it's 100% true. And I love Colombia, but the women here are different. The culture here is different. You're also not getting men that have their women working as escorts and prostitutes and okay with that because they don't want to work. Here in Medellin, it's a common thing. Yeah, my girl's got boyfriends in other countries. Huh? Like, seriously. So you're asking me the why, and I appreciate you asking me. You're just a little late. I wish you would have asked me that, you know, Wednesday. We could have had that conversation. But the reality is, it's misplaced value, man. I haven't been valuing myself. I have been a person that's always been taking care of things. All of my clients come to me with problems, I solve them. I'm not usually the person in a position where I have a problem and need a solution. If you look at my Instagram account, I literally say that. My name is Neo because I have a new perspective on how I look at everything in life every day, and that's the reason I'm so good at solving problems. Like these are
And
things
this is
that
just to help. I'm not interrupting you. Hey, Darnell, and I don't know if Ronan wants to do that. Maybe if you want Ronan to, I'm sorry, Ronan, you
What?
want Darnell to instead send something uh,
Yeah, I mean, Darnell, please
his way.
click that PayPal link, man. Send the brother some money, please. I appreciate your support, definitely. But every little bit helps, man. And I'm not too proud to say, hey, go ahead and kick this brother some money. Listen, everybody has a bad motherfucking day. You don't know when it's going to hit you. You don't know why it's going to hit you. But nobody's beyond having a bad motherfucking day and just getting caught up out there. Ain't nobody perfect up in here. Yeah, we can dissect his story and all these other things. But if you can hear the tone of this man's voice, he ain't playing. Okay? There is some concern and some anxiety coming from his tone of voice. This ain't an act. So yes, please, if you guys can support this brother, couple bucks here, couple bucks there, in Colombia goes a long way. So please hit the PayPal link that I just posted up. I think it's fixed now. And yes, the woman's name is Karen that's supporting him and paying his Airbnb currently to make sure because he doesn't have any IDs and things that he needs. So just go ahead and hit the PayPal link, please, if you could. Thank you. Go ahead, gentlemen.
My other question would be, what is it you think you learned from this? Because I know before you were talking about you're going to do, let's just say it, you're going to do a reality TV show with Polly. What would that have shown? And since all of this happened, how would that be different now? That's one question. The second question is, guys are often traveling to Colombia and they're just on a weekend warrior vacation. If this happened to you, what advice can you give to the guys who are just going there for the weekend to avoid something like this?
Oh, well, that's easy. The guys that are coming here for the weekend is the clients I talk to on a regular basis. Listen, don't ever bring your girl back to where you stay at. Get another Airbnb because you can get an Airbnb for $30, $40. I mean, hell, my Airbnb is nice. It costs $45 a night. You can also go to Ibiza, which is a great place. It's a suite. They actually won't let anybody leave unless everyone leaves together. Like, they lock you in there, literally. You get there at Ibiza. It's in Itaúi. It's amazing. Jacuzzi, pool, the whole 9 yards in the room. But they won't let everybody leave until everybody leaves. So that's easy for the weekend warrior. For me, what have I learned? Bro, I'm still learning. But honestly, the first thing is value. If I remember being stressed out thinking about, I gotta take my dog out. My dog goes out at the same damn time. He's like a clock. I take him out on a normal basis. It's how I live my life. And I remember being stressed at the fact that this chick had changed this many times. And I'm like, she better get here. And then she was still late. I should have never had that. I should have never even been in a mindset to be like, I'll still take your interview. Because if I scheduled an interview with somebody and then on the same day had to reschedule it, I probably wouldn't even go after that. So I had to try to reschedule it a third time. But
so
again,
you had several days to reflect. What do you think the root cause of that mistake? Obviously, you see the ramifications. Okay. What caused you to give her that many opportunities? You've had time to reflect on this.
My heartbreak over Joa, man. That's why.
Over who?
Joa, the girl, my girlfriend.
Okay, so you had just lost a girlfriend, so she kind of reminded you of her?
No, it has nothing of that. Nothing of that. I'm thinking about, so like the whole reason I would get up early and make this little girl her breakfast and then pack her lunch and make sure she had dinner and all of these things for her was because I'm looking at this single mom who's trying to go to school and she's losing it on this little girl on a regular basis because she's not able and not at capacity to deal with a child. And I'm just like, this is the case with like every woman that's here. And we can talk about the webcam model who had an 8-year-old and is coming into our apartment high out of her mind on various substances because this is her way to deal with and cope with being overwhelmed with stresses of life as a single parent. And this is like this perpetuating cycle here in Colombia where you have all of these women, these men that know how to make babies, and they don't do anything to take care of them. And so, I'm hearing her tell me, this happened at school today with him. I'm a single mom. I really need this job. And me thinking, man, at least she's not trying to sleep with men for money. You know, like she's trying to work and, you know, have something on the up and up. I get it. I understand that. I can be flexible. It's okay. You know, my schedule really hasn't changed much. I'm still awake anyway. I still got stuff to do, you know, but the reality is that's me taking something personal where we shouldn't be there because it should be professional. And the reality is you can't do what I need you to do from a professional standpoint. And honestly, it's the same thing with the whole Neil's poly. You were asking me about how would I do this differently? Hey guys, I gotta be careful on time. The guy's computer I'm using right now just sent me a message and said he's trying to go out. Let me know when he's done, but you know, I gotta respect his time. But in either case, that for me is me getting to the spot where these are not my problems. You know, like I funny as I was uploading this video yesterday, I sent Karen a screenshot because there was one video posted prior to that, and it's an unlisted link. And it was a recording of how to add the supplements to Titan Nutrition's website on Shopify. And it's a 10-minute video I recorded for the girls so that they could learn how to do it because there's still a bunch of SKUs that need to be added. You know, there's 0 views. That means none of them have watched it. I took the time to record it, make it, create it in Spanish for them so they could learn how to do this process and help me. And not one person of the 3 has watched it. This is what I've learned and what I'm doing differently. If you're not going to show me from right now what you're going to do to help support, I'm out because you're not helping me. And the reality is, that's the whole reason I got divorced was because I'm working a 16-hour shift, and all you had to do to help me was turn on an air conditioner, and you didn't, and my dog died. Like, I'm married to you because I felt like I needed to, and at the end of the day, you're beating the shit out of me. Like, this is the repeating cycle. You're asking me what would I do differently? Go back to the start of why is it that I keep thinking that I should be with the woman that I need to technically save from a situation and find my value in that? And we can go into it if you want to, but the reason is because
we're gonna go into that. I want to because first let me say what this gentleman said. He said this brother's paying all the bills and doing the cooking, cleaning, and got the nerve to have 2 women and a step baby. You're doing too much, dude. And not you muted yourself. You're on mute here.
Yeah, I was saying I agree 100%. I muted myself because there's noise and I don't.
No, so what I would say is, do you think? I'm gonna say this because I think I did this when I was younger. I might have dated girls who were more vulnerable because when they were more vulnerable, I could get whatever I wanted out of them. You know, so do you think you dated someone who's like, hey, they need me? So by needing me, I can say, well, you know, I want to be poly. I want to have these many girls. And they're kind of in a situation where, well, he's doing this. I can accept this lifestyle. Well, that may not be their actual lifestyle, but they accept it because of what you're doing for them.
No, that's not it. The reason is because the relationship I got into, my first ex-wife, was after getting out of a relationship with a woman that manipulated and molded me into what she wanted from her previous divorce. And I felt like she was a ring up. She was older than I was. She was more mature than I was. And I look back at my life in the 3-4 years that I was with her, and I realized that my life was only a reflection of what she created. I felt like a fucking puppet. And so after that, I started looking for these women that were vulnerable in these situations where I could pretty much do the same thing from another level. The polyamory thing had nothing to do with that. These girls like
would you be with them if they were not poly?
No. Because I don't
so it has to do so it has something to do with it.
Well, yeah, but the poly thing is less about them being poly and more about the fact that I don't think monogamy works because it doesn't keep people in line of what your value and what you're doing and not doing is. Like, for instance, it's really easy to have 3 people in a relationship and look and see that nobody has viewed anything. That's not a me thing, that's on y'all, right? It's different than if it's just my wife and she says, look, baby, it's because I felt like this, or I've been depressed, or I've been stressed, or I've been whatever reason, and I'm like, oh, okay. And
but as a man in a relationship, did you ever go back and check them and say, why haven't you looked at this? It's a simple thing for you to do to help me out.
Oh, listen, I sent the text yesterday. I was like, I'm in this position because of you guys.
That's too late. That's too late. That's a reactive situation. 100%. Why immediately the day after you told them, hey, I need you to take a quick look at this video, they didn't take you seriously because you didn't follow up with them and say, look, it's very simple for me to see that y'all ain't looked at this shit. As much as I do for you guys in this motherfucking house, Why
So-
have you not looked at this link? Why didn't you step
I
up
didn't
and
even
do
see
that
it,
then?
brother, until yesterday, which is a month later. I'll send it to you separate out of this. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's a month later. You know why? Because I'm too fucking busy, bro.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
good.
I'm too busy doing everything else I shouldn't have to be doing. Like, listen, the question is, why am I in a house? I'm paying for a nanny. I got 3 women. Why am I cooking anything?
Bruh, that's too much.
Why am I cooking anything?
That is
And,
way
and,
I
too
think-
much.
and I'm not faulting any of my own schedule. I'm still handling every client call, every meeting, everything I still need to do, I'm still doing.
And
So,
to
like-
say this, guys, I think what we need to do. I know that tonight we are talking about your situation that where something happened to you, but I think in the future, when you know you're able to settle down and you get your things together, I think we need to revisit the conversation, just as from a male perspective. You know, just to say, hey guys, are you guys doing this? Because we have a lot of guys who are doing what you're doing, who feel that they need to help everyone out. I call it like the Captain Save a Hole. I'm doing that.
We talked about
And
that earlier. They weren't hoes.
They get no. I'm not calling them a hoe. I'm just saying.
Right.
You know how
I
we
said the
say.
same thing earlier too.
Yeah, but when we feel that we're doing so much, but we don't get a return on our value. And I asked me and Ronan were on a panel. Was that Tuesday or Wednesday? And I said the women want this, this, and this. And I asked the woman. I said, well, what does he get? If he's, because she was like, well, my dad does this and he provided this. And I said, great. What does the man get out of it? And so that's where I think we need to revisit, because it seems like you were doing a lot, but you weren't getting anything from what you were doing.
Fearless, you like to Google things, brother, right? So I want you to do me a favor.
I will. Go ahead.
I want you to
What you need
Google
to
the meaning of the name Alistair.
Spell that for me.
Alister. I want you to Google the meaning of the name Alistair.
All right.
And then
Defender
I want
of
you to
mankind, man's defender.
Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I don't want to make this really long. My father, okay, his father died in his arms when my dad was 12 years old. It was a take your dad to work day, take your son to work day. My grandfather fell out of the ceiling in a movie theater and cracked his head open, died in my father's arms. I was named after my grandfather. My complete name was after my grandfather. The entire time I was living as a child under their roof, they said, look, man, your name means helper of mankind. You need to be a helpful person. Help your brother, help your sister, help this person, help that person. And the whole reason I changed my name to Neo is because I was fucking tired of carrying around that weight. And changing your name is easy, but changing your mindset around being this person helpful, providing, defending everyone is not. And that's why. So like I was telling Ronan earlier, dude, I have a therapist and I have a life coach because I'm trying to get out of this mindset as efficiently as possible. And there's a lot of things to it. This is not about this event. This event happened way beforehand. The steps and the decisions and the things that allow me to be blind in these moments of navigating came way before this moment right now. I'm not on here to tell people don't get scoped. I'm on here to say, hey, think about what you're even doing to put yourself in a position where it could even happen, because it's the thing that you're not thinking about that leads to this. 100%.
And just to challenge you, my name came before yours. I'm Alexander, and it means helper of mankind. That Alistair name is a spinoff of mine. I came first.
But okay,
I'm just saying, same meaning. So I already understand. I always try to overdo shit.
But that's
so I had to learn not to.
Brother,
but you guys don't understand. Names given to people mean things to them, and you have no idea how much power names give to you. So you guys really need to do research on why names mean so much and why you do certain things. All that is relative in a person's life, whether you believe it or not. And we got 2 people on the panel that came on that have been patiently waiting, and we want to bring them up because
before they talk, I'm just going to say this. This should help support guys. I know I come at him hard. I got to ask the hard questions, but sometimes things can just happen to anybody, no matter how safe you are. Because even I'm safe. I've put myself in situations that may not have been the best situations, and it just so happened I came out great on the end. where, instead of going left, I could have went right and it ended up entirely different. So everybody can have that. But the great thing is, what I do like about Neo is the fact that he can reflect and he can look back and say, this is what I did wrong. This is what I would do again. And so please, with everybody in the chat, even if you just donated $2, he could reach his goal. So $2 ain't getting you nothing, man. That's a cup of coffee. $5, you can get a Happy Meal. It ain't going to hurt none of y'all. So just go to PayPal. Me and Ronan have already donated previously. But, give a little something to help the brother out. Who is here for us? Passport, Blueprint. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Appreciate that. All right.
Well, first, I'm glad nothing serious happened to him, because we all know about scopamine and
sometimes you don't wake up.
Sometimes you don't wake up, so I'm glad he's still here. The thing I have a question is this: why didn't you take her to just a regular cafe to do the interview?
It's a time frame, brother. So like the other 3 interviews in the day were at the gym where the supplement shop is open. The time frame post 7 o'clock. Remember, my focus was on getting to the dog. Like, I'm trying to get to Logan, take him out. And I have this co-working space. So for me, there's literally meetings in the co-working space all day long. This is not something that, like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I have security in the building. It's very common, especially like post-COVID. I'm sorry, man, but like most buildings have co-working spaces where people are having meetings all day. Like,
but why did you take her upstairs then? But why didn't you interview her in the co-working space?
Yeah, the co-working space is where we went, which is upstairs. It's not 27th floor, but I don't know where it is. Maybe like the 6th floor. It's after the parking garages. But they had to close it because they were doing construction stuff. That's the only reason why. So we were in the co-working space for about 10 minutes, and they were like, "Hey, brother, we're closing this down. Sorry, we're in the middle of doing this." They were trying to flush the water system out that was running there. So
by the way, Neo, please demonstrate to them that you're fluent in Spanish.
¿En cuál forma tú quieres lo compartir eso? Es como si quieres hablar en español, ya hablo en español. Y lo sé 4 idiomas también, no solo en español.
But this is not a brother that does not know how to communicate in Spanish.
No, absolutely.
So that's not even a reason.
6 años es la verdad. Es como español para mí, es como mi idioma primero, segundo, de cuál forma tú quieres usar, pero es lo mismo.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well,
go ahead, Blueprint.
Now, my next question is this. You talk about this whole poly lifestyle, and you was going to do some type of TV show documentary. Do you think it's wise to do that with a lot of people, a lot of guys coming down here that's into the pay for play stuff and they're getting scoped? You think that's a wise idea for you to promote that?
So yes, actually, I think it's even more of a wise idea now, because the reality is that the polyamory thing, and I say this on everywhere that I say, is it's experience love differently. Because the honest, my aspect of all of this and monogamy, my divorces and all of these things is that we all bring trauma into love. Like every time you enter into a relationship, you're taking past trauma from past love experiences into the next one. And my name Neo now means new. And so the reality is, when you're starting a new relationship, you should be able to start it with a fresh love of experience without bringing the trauma into it, if you do it differently and approach it differently. And it allows you to have the conversation, because believe it or not, which is really something that blew my mind, when I look at the interactions and how many people are following and interacting on the reels and things from Neo's Poly, it's 75% greater men than women. And so this conversation that we're having right now, to prevent men from having these similar situations, to understand their name, their meaning, their value, the way in which they're looking at it, how are we going to have that conversation if we don't start with the thing that attracts all men, which is women?
But the problem is, if you notice the things that's been going on, a lot of guys that's being scoped is involved in the whole play for play.
But I'm not playing for play. So I am technically, because I'm paying for their entire lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it's the whole sexual thing. They're going down there just for nookie. And the thing is, you're inviting them into a situation where in that environment, people are scoping people.
Listen, let me say this. So, Neo, now, and I know you came in, vibrato and everything else when you first started interviewing with QB and everything else, and self-reflection that you're doing right now, and the situation you got going on. As far as Neo's Poly, your lifestyle doesn't necessarily need to change, but do you think you need to go back to the wheelhouse and start thinking about and evaluating the type of women that you're vetting, and maybe you're picking the wrong type of women
Oh, listen, I 100%, and I could already tell you my mindset at this point is that I don't want to deal with anyone from Medellin in Neo's Poly, because
It's about
and it may
Medellin
not be
or a
Colombia
woman that
too.
could be productive for you and actually is willing to get under your program so that you can actually have them assist you and not be a burden to you. That's the difference. You ready to go?
I think you had to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we can let you close out real quick and
But-
you can go.
Hey, Neo.
We'll let you close
Neo.
out and you can go, man. I don't want to hold this guy up because he was nice.
Real
to me.
quick.
He's gonna
Neo.
give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
Neo, mi esposa dice que tu pronunciación es perfecta.
Ay, listo. Gracias. Mil gracias.
Yeah. Yes, but we're going to give you, go ahead and take your 5 minutes to go ahead and close out and your self-realization, the things you find, let these guys know what you want them to learn from, what your experience was, even though you know, you're brash, you knew Spanish, you knew a lot of things, you've been there for 5 years, so you thought you had, you know, your hands wrapped around this thing, but it one slip, you know, so kind of leave them with something to grow from your experience.
Okay, are you ready? The aspect of the thing that gets you in trouble is the place in where you're most vulnerable. I have been here whoremongering for 6 years. I have no problems having sex with women and not getting scoped. The vulnerability aspect is thinking that I can save a woman, help a woman that's going through something difficult, and put myself in that line of way because that's where I'm vulnerable. So if you know, for whatever reason, you're traveling because you're looking for sex, that is going to be the thing that's used to put you in a spot that you don't need to be in. And that's in any aspect of your life. Wherever you're vulnerable is going to be the thing that is used against you in that sense. And that will be your demise. So, you know, understand that. And that's something, like I said, I'm still in that process of learning, man. I'm 42. I'm grateful that I will see 43, hopefully. But I'm, you know, it's this process. It's having these conversations. It's learning and understanding that, yeah, we make mistakes. And I have never said in anything in any of these questions like, man, this is not my fault, because I don't blame her. She took opportunity, and I gave it to her.
Yeah, check your PayPal, brother. I think you got a lot of donations today, so hopefully that helps get you down the road.
Eric said he sent you $10 PayPal. Thanks for all the Medellin content going back in a few years.
Thank you.
So if you can get him some something to his PayPal, get him out, because I'm sure once he gets past this hump in the road, his view and outlook would be entirely different. And you know, maybe we
it's
can
already entirely different.
We can document his journey there. So
I mean, everybody has to have situations in order to grow. You know?
Darnell, do you want to say something before Neil goes?
I do. Are you finished with him? Passport Blueprint.
Well, real quick, because he ain't got that much time. He's on somebody else's laptop. We need you to pick out a short question and let him answer it real quick, because he really does. He's on somebody's laptop.
Well, in that case, I probably should just. I can't be short with this one.
Yeah, you can't get a short question.
No, sir. No, sir. I can't. It's a series of questions, so I'm not.
Maybe I can give you a.
Why don't you give him a consultation fee, and then you can have all the conversation with him you want, brother.
You could absolutely do that.
Send him a PayPal, and on the message, give him maybe a note to contact you, and y'all have a conversation off.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that video, I have an email address that's on there.
Brother has a WhatsApp, so he will talk to you.
Yeah, I'll talk. I'm not going to talk right now. I'm going to text because my phone.
Right. That's what I mean by talk. He'll text you. So yeah, if you guys want to have off conversations, we definitely put out his WhatsApp if you want him to, or at least PayPal him and then ask him, and he'll shoot something back at you. Believe
Yeah, 100%. I have absolutely no problem sharing, talking, discussing any of those things. 100%.
All right. Well, I guess we appreciate you getting it, because, like I said, this is a marked improvement from your situation today at noon with the Andrew show. So, I mean, you pulled it out the hat, And I appreciate you doing that for the show. We appreciate you being able to communicate your feelings and your experience. And everybody has their own experience and own perspective. So hey, everybody can be right in their own way, but also everybody can be absolutely wrong. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
So we appreciate your time. Hopefully you'll come back on the show later and let us know what the end result was. And we look forward to seeing your progress. Obviously, you're a YouTuber, so we'll see your content and everything else. So, Fearless, you got anything? Black Man Travel?
No, I just want to. I know at this time you only had your PayPal. How can people get a touch of you? They want to come down to. Well, it seems that you're, like I said, your Spanish is good and fluent. Maybe they can have you as I don't want to say a tour guide, but kind of keep them out of trouble. How did they get a hold of you? How does someone get a hold of you?
Honestly, I think the best and the easiest way is to hit me on TikTok, just because I'm most active on TikTok now, because I can't get into my Instagram, which is just Being Neo, BEING, period Neo, NEO. BEING, period NEO.
Put it in the private chat so we can actually put it out to everybody real quick before you leave. Put it in the private chat, the back chat. You see the button on the side?
I think I put it Being Neo, but maybe that isn't it.
There you go. Thank you, Fearless. And I mean, anyone that watches my YouTube, if you send comments,
I just posted his YouTube channel in there. Everybody hit the subscribe button on his channel. But he's been there 5-6 years, so it's not like he doesn't know how to move around there. He just, like I said, everybody can get got.
I haven't. No one's gotten got. It's just, again, the horn monitoring thing for me is easy. This aspect of my vulnerability is what got me got.
How long did you know this woman again?
It was just an interview, so he just met her.
Yeah, she was an interview. I don't know her.
He was interviewing her for a position at a supplement shop that he had.
Titan Nutrition.
Okay. All right. Then so I mean, how did you know about her circumstances and things? She told you, or was it a friend of a friend?
Yeah, she was telling me with her excuses every time she changed the interview time. She changed the interview time 3 times.
Well, I'm talking about before that though. How did the meeting take place? Like, were you introduced to her by a friend or something, or
Facebook group? I posted the job. I posted the job availability on Facebook groups.
Okay. All right. And she told you her life story pretty much on Facebook?
No, she gave me the excuses during the times at which she was readjusting her time for why she couldn't make it. And I mean, I get her life story. I just got son, trouble, single mom, the regular stuff. We weren't having like deep conversations.
And 3 times, right?
Yeah, she changed the time 3 times.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to hold you, brother. But thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you guys for being respectful with the questions. I'm gonna give this guy his laptop because literally.
Yeah, I know he wants to go out. It's Friday night, man. We're not trying to hold him up.
I'm holding this dude up.
You made miracles happen because this is a marked difference, like I said, from the noontime interview that you were trying to give to Andrew. So appreciate your efforts in getting it done, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
And we'll keep your PayPal going tonight. So
thank you. I really appreciate that. Like, you have no ideas. It's really talk about vulnerability to come on here and share with you guys that I'm a brother that has no money and no access to money right now
So when do you expect that to change real quick? I'm just wondering how long.
By the end of next week. By the end of next week. The process should be about 10 business days. So it should be by the end of next week.
Get a credit card, brother. Get a credit card.
At least one, and hide it somewhere in your place.
Yeah, I 100% hear you on that one now for sure. We'll do that.
All right, brother. You have a good evening. Stay safe, man.
Thank you guys. Do as well. Thank you guys so much.
All right, Neil. Have a good one.
Peace out, guys.
All right, guys. It's open panel, so let the ammo start flying and people start. You can say cap all day, whatever. Let's hear it. He was able to actually communicate everything without being interrupted. So what do you guys feel? By the way, if you go to his channel, he released a full video. I think it was about 16 to 20 minutes of the story, accounting of the story, and it's been consistent between what he recorded and even tonight. So if you guys want to hear the whole story, he actually pre-recorded one and put it on his YouTube channel. So you can go and click on the link and go to his YouTube channel and watch that video for the details. So Ulysses, welcome to the panel. You've been listening from the wings, and I saw you early in the Andrew show. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's a hotbed right now, Colombia, man. They're really like coming after us. Like it's like Neo said, it doesn't matter if like you've been there for like 5 years or 10 years. I think you can still get got. He's not the only person that I've known that's gotten got. I know some other veterans that have been there for many years, and these guys are not careless, and they've gotten got or they caught in the girl in the accident. So it's definitely getting up there, Medellin. It's becoming very dangerous. I will say that.
Okay.
I will say.
Black Man Travels, were you about to say something? Because it seemed like your mic came off mute.
No, I was just listening.
Okay. I mean, we're in an open panel, so you know
he is not utilizing those women, which I don't understand. You know, if you're
You know
gonna
what?
have one woman or two women,
I want to
Go
say
ahead.
this. I meet these type of men who don't have no relationship outside of, I mean, they have no relationship within the United States, no relationship with people in those countries, where they put themselves in these situations where they have no one to help them. This is a very common thing. I've met a lot of guys just like this, and it shows how important it is to build relationships. You don't have a single friend or family member to where you could reach out and say, "Hey, I need help."
Yeah, it's a sad situation.
I
Believe me.
It's like for me, honestly. Look, I wanted to go in, then I realized, you know what? Nah, I'm good, man. It's just like the stuff he was saying just didn't make any sense to me. From taking this stuff, throwing it from the 27th floor. If they took his camera, his computer, food. I mean, really. I mean, typically, if you stay in a good area in Medellin, normally if you walk in with a guest, the guest is checked in, mandatory, where they grab their license or the ID, and those same guests must be escorted out with you. So the fact that this person just left or climbed out the window with a rope made out of sheets, it was just too much. I lost interest. I was like, you know what, I'm done.
From the 27th floor.
Look,
Well,
the thing is, like,
she didn't climb out the window. She
dropped.
put some things on the backpack and dropped that out, and then
regardless,
took the
thing
elevator.
is that a lot of brothers are moving very sloppy in a way where they don't care to build relationship with people. And this is why it's important to build a relationship, genuine relationship, not transactional relationships. And it's like, yeah, you can smash a bunch of pros. That's not a flex. Can you actually build a relationship where, in the case if something were to happen to you, you could actually pick up the phone and call that person? They got you. If you supported all these businesses all over Colombia, all over the world, you don't have a single person to Cash App you or PayPal you. I mean, you could get access to your online accounts. It's just a lot of window. It was just a lot of holes in this story. I lost interest and to participate. I let you guys handle it, but it just shows real talk how I meet a lot of brothers for the past 20 years that I've been traveling. A lot of brothers just like him have no relationship with people.
Yeah,
they treat everything as a transactional, and when shit hits the fan, this is where they fall into.
And I have to agree with Kanal because I still have my contacts in Israel that if I have a problem, they will back me up.
right. I mean, that was my first question I asked him. Where's your circle of friends? Where's your family? Where is your levels of communication that you've had for the 5 years you've been there? You really didn't take any time to build that?
And
To where, and like I use the perfect example. I know I can call certain people, and if I need them to drop me 300 because I'm just short, they know you're getting that money back. It ain't even when you need it, boom, you got it. And then
it's a point of failure when you get to the point.
How do you not have somebody like that in your life?
No,
As
I can
honestly-
say that. No, I can agree with him because there's been times where I've helped out a lot of people, and I look around and say, "Damn, who would help me out? Like, who can help me out?" It's like I've been the one and you see it in people who are famous. You know, let's take a Drake. Drake helping out everybody's bills, but if Drake went down, ain't nobody helping him out. He look around his friends, and they were just transactional friends. So I know that where you look and say, "Man, I don't really have real friends. I just got people who are here because I can either help them or it's always been a one-way relationship where I've helped out." And I got friends like that now. I got a guy at work that always called me like when it has to do with something like, "Oh man, I see you making money on this stock. How can you help me?" And even my wife said, "Man, he only calls you when he needs something. There's no other time that he calls. And there's nothing that he ever given to me. It's always me giving to him." And when I said, "Bro, I mean, can you help me out with something?" So it was always that person depending on me. And I said, "Man, I never depend on this." So I understand what you're saying, Kanal, but sometimes you go through life where you give people advice and nobody is able to give you advice. And you have to change your circle. I will say that.
Yeah.
You know,
Real quick, I just want to read out the $5 super chat from TF. He said he needs to stay in contact with this panel for counsel. If not online, private, he does have access to us. We're all in a community group. That's how we started to talk about the story in the background and arrange the whole live. Believe me, a lot of these shows are rearranged and prearranged through back channels before they even get on. So, yes, he does have access to us now. He knows, obviously, he's already said it. More than anybody that's supported him and family has been guys on this panel.
Yeah. Man. Like I'm Ronan, I'm glad you said that, you know, in the group that, you know, this can happen to anybody, and we've seen it happen to anybody. We've seen it happen to expats. I know in this space, at least for the past 2-3 years, an expat has gotten scoped easy. And it's because they're the ones, you know, they've been there for years, they've let their guard down, they know. He obviously knows Spanish. He knows his way around. He's had several relationships, so his guard is down.
You become complacent.
Yeah.
You forget your training. You know. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It's happened to me. You know, except I got a knife wound in the arm, but you know.
A chick did that to you? A woman did that to you?
No. It was a group of guys as a pickpocket.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I know it, but I was just saying, I know what you mean by the complacency. You know, same thing happened to me. I should have known better. This wasn't my first time overseas. This is my first time to Brazil, but it wasn't my first time overseas. Mm-hmm. You know, I just, whatever reason, I ain't gonna lie, I was drunk too, but you know, whatever reason, I forgot my training.
Here's the other thing. What? A lot of you guys like to solo travel and you think you got your shit wired, and you do not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right about that.
I gotta be honest with you though, Ronan. The reason I like to solo travel, I'm just saying, there's just too many Americans out there. You know, I just never comfortable traveling with other Americans unless I really no, I mean, because
and again, I'm going to tell y'all the same thing. Fearless Black Man Travels. Pick better goddamn friends.
Well, you know,
if you ain't got a person that you can spot or will spot you, if you ain't got pick some better goddamn friends.
I gotta push back on that, because I think a lot of guys travel solo too, is because I'm in the mindset that if I gotta wait on you to go, I'll never go. Because you know how things happen. People make plans.
Then that ain't your travel buddy.
So it happens to anybody. It happens to the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
Something pops up, you know, car or kid or, you know, something, and you got to make changes.
Yep. That too.
That does happen. Let's not be like it. Oh, you choose better friends. All of us got good people. I mean, the people I travel with would spot me, but things happen. It just does.
Oh, I understand that too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a quick funny story.
You better came home funny.
From Wait. First, you are never quick with a story.
And it better be funny.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So on the plane back from Afghanistan, right? You know, we had to go to Fort Bliss, El Paso, and I was seeing a girl down in Juarez. So I was going to Juarez. I was telling my friends, yeah, man, you know, my buddies I was over there with, you know, yeah, I'm going to Juarez. And they're like, oh man, we gotta go too. Stuff like that, right? You know, but they're like, man, you ain't scared? Like, nah, I've been multiple times, you know. All right, yeah, we're definitely going. So I checked in with them. Nah, we're not going. You know, so I said, okay, I went by myself, right? Some kind of way, me, no trouble. Those guys stayed on the American side, you know, in El Paso, and some kind of way ran into the cartel, nearly got themselves killed by the cartel, you know, in El Paso.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
know.
crazy.
I know that Bert said this. He said it's always important to develop good relationships in different countries. Here's the problem that I found, man. They always look at you like you're the gringo with the money. You're the
Facts.
person that you got the friends, but you always paying. You're always doing something. So they depend on you, but you can't depend on them.
Right.
What kind of brothers you finding overseas, man?
But you
When
know
you
what?
pick
though?
wait, hold on. Let me say this. If you picking a friend or somebody overseas, I can see you associating with certain people that are of lower value or lower class than you are based on the fact that you're an American. But you should have some at the same level or higher than you as well.
But you're talking about the people who live over there, who are the natives.
Hey, it doesn't mean that you're traveling in the lower circles either.
But
What do we tell? What do we normally tell
you're an
people?
American, man.
What do we normally
You're an
tell
American.
people? When you go over there, you should not be going to the hood. You should be going to areas
It ain't
where
even
you're
about
at the
the
top
hood.
5
Right.
or
It ain't even about
1%.
the hood, brother. It ain't about the hood. You are an American, so you already expected that you're gonna take care of everything.
Right.
That ain't
Right.
necessarily true. I know a
Mhm.
lot of cultures that will step up and say, "I would dare never take a dime from you." There are very
Yeah.
much cultures over there that will refuse to take your money if you're a friend of theirs. They don't care
Yes.
that you're an American.
So not all the stories are the same, and I'm gonna say this too, is that we have to also take into context. This brother said he was interviewing someone for a job. Who in their right mind would look to scope somebody during an interview? I
Exactly.
mean, I
That's
don't know if that
that's a
was
Well,
her
desperation
intention.
move.
I
I
think
got a. I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah,
My bad.
I was about to say I don't think it's her intention, but maybe when he invited her up, she was like, "Oh my God, I got this scope on me. I got to get him."
You're right.
But does anyone actually buy that story that he was just trying to be a good Samaritan and help this poor single mom out with a job? Anybody actually buy that story? Because I
Yeah.
mean, there's more holes. There's more holes in that story than Swiss cheese.
I don't believe so. I believe
Yeah, I
that he
believe
was
him.
trying to give the girl a job and an opportunity.
Okay, but here's the thing. He
Because
said he
that
has what?
wasn't his. That wasn't his first interview. That was one of. That
His
was like his
fourth.
fourth interview.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But
You're missing something.
he runs 13 businesses, if I remember correctly, right?
Mhm.
All right, so professional. He's been running them for a couple years. I'm assuming he's not new. I mean, what kind of
But
boss?
he's saying, but I'm not defending. I'm just telling the truth of what he said. He
Mhm.
said his businesses are in the United States. This is the first business that he's opening in Colombia.
Okay. But the point is, anybody that misses the first interview, I mean, you're not going to give them, and then they miss
He
you give
said
them a
that.
second chance.
He
Yeah,
kicked
he said
himself in the
that.
butt multiple times and said, "I
Yeah.
don't know why I gave this girl 3-4
Yeah,
chances."
Yeah, he
Go
said
for this
that.
interview.
But think about this. Somebody says,
but
I mean, I've been in those countries, and what you say is the traffic is crazy right now. I'm trying to
mhm.
get there, but the traffic is crazy. Can we schedule it? Or, I was on my way. That time was great, but now by the time I get there, my daughter's going to be home, and I won't be able to make it. And
Yeah.
my mom won't be able to watch her. Can we put it a little bit later? Because a little bit later, I'll be able to make it. So, it's always like that.
Yeah. I give him the benefit of the doubt. He don't sound like anybody that was trying to hustle us to me. Like, yeah, at first it seemed like there was issues, but he always had like, listen, I don't have a phone, that's is the that authenticator and all that stuff that comes along with things now and being out of the country. This brother been out the country, what he said, 6 years. And he's like I said, he feels like he's a local. He speaks the language. His guard is down, and that's just what it is. His guard was down during the interview, and I would definitely like to see, man, how did she even, administer whatever she had? Like, I have seen the aerosol examples, so I know that does exist.
Well,
So,
the only thing
But he still doesn't know how he got it though. It was just stated that it could be done aerosol wise.
No, he did say the hospital told him it was, they believe, transmitted through air. They detected aerosol in his system or something like that. He said.
No, he said he
Then
didn't know
why
how
didn't
he
she
got
get it?
Yeah,
that's what I had asked in the super chat.
Well, here's the thing: you guys are thinking that when she sprays it, it goes throughout the whole room. If she sprays directly on his skin, it would stay on him. The projection of the spray would go forward, not backwards.
Right, but you'd be like, well, why are you spraying me? Like, what are you spraying me with? What's going on? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense.
yeah. Or it could have been something. I mean, like I said, you think about, like, even with COVID and how you touch so many things in your face and how many times you touch your face. It could have been on a pen or a pencil or in a handshake, or you just never know how it was administered. We're assuming aerosol, but
I know.
It could have been administered downstairs.
We're all speculating because he doesn't even know how he got it.
Yep, he doesn't even.
And I know we're saying a lot, but look, here's the thing. If it was somebody like Jay Rillo, like, I need a ticket back home, give you $500.
Motherfuckers drop $1,000, $4,000 real quick.
Well,
all he's saying is, look, I just need something to get by until my debit card comes.
Yep.
So that's why I was like, yeah, that's a little more reasonable. Because if he's like, well,
how do you? How do you? I apologize for cutting you off, Fearless, but how do you think Jay Rillo started? He didn't start off asking for $4,000. I need $99 to pay this change fee, please. I just need a ticket home. That's how he started too. He started out real small,
but he
just
didn't
like he's
ask
saying.
no amount. And the thing is, it's not even coming to him. So it's not like, hey, send me this. I'm sending it to somebody else because I don't have access to it.
And also, Darnell, you got to consider too, when Jay Rillo did it, he had no business traveling in the first place, based on he was traveling with $700 down to the DR doing what he was doing. So this brother, he's well established, like he said, and he had countermeasures already in place, which that's one thing I really like to hear from him. He said, I normally turn off my cards every time I use them. So there's not
that was another thing
that somebody can get into it.
But see,
well, that's another thing too.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's like, if you have to do all these things and get money out of your account by turning off cards and turning them on, why would you be in that country?
True.
Obviously, it's not a safe environment, so why be there?
Fact.
I'm sorry. I turn my ATM card off every time I use it in the grocery store, bro.
Sorry. I mean, yeah, you may do
turn it off, even in America.
You have so many countermeasures. It's like paranoia at that point, and it's like,
but we got countermeasures here. I mean, even with mine, I've been woken up at 3:00 in the morning with something on my phone to say change your password because somebody used my email to try to get in. But whenever you try to get into my account, it's going to send me a message with a code. So the email doesn't do anything if you don't have a code. Yeah. But so I know that somebody's out there trying to hack.
Yes.
Right. But everybody knows about the card readers that slide in. Everybody knows about the card readers that slide in on top of the other card readers, and all they're trying to do is get your information off of it. So I've just learned myself. That's why you have the RFID wallets here in America. People can pick up the signal off the transmitter on your fucking chip. There's so many different things that are going on here where we protect ourselves here, but all of a sudden you're not supposed to protect yourself over in a foreign country where the economy is fucked up and you can get got.
Yeah.
I'm not against the countermeasures. I'm not against the countermeasures. The only thing, did anybody pick up, because I had super chatted in earlier, I'm trying to see if anyone else picked this up. I asked, well, how come you don't have overseas, phone plan? He
was using Google Wi-Fi. So he had a phone plan that was working over there. But
how does that work?
So,
Google Wi-Fi or whatever it's called.
I don't know. I never used it abroad, but one of the things that he was having problems with, and that happened during the Andrew show, was that the phone microphone wasn't working or something.
Well, that's
So,
because he has a lady's old phone, and it's like an iPhone 6. It doesn't update anymore. He couldn't get in. That's somebody that just gave him that phone because he really didn't have a phone, so he can at least text through WhatsApp. But other than that, he didn't have any capability of talking at all on that phone.
But the thing is, is it like, so with that type of style of phone, it works overseas, the Google phone, whatever, it works overseas, it works anywhere, or do you have to be physically connected to a modem?
I think you have to be in the vicinity of some Wi-Fi to use it.
Okay, so right there, my antennas go up. And here's why I say that.
I gotta ask you something. How the fuck your antennas go up on him?
I can't even finish a goddamn sentence.
You ain't gonna finish this sentence because how the fuck your antennas go up on him? But every time we talk to you after the show about some chick you went out to, your antennas ain't go up.
About some what?
Some chick you done spent money on a radiator, Fugo de child, spending money on all this shit. Your antennas don't go up, but your antennas go up on him. That's I got to say that. I'm sorry, man. Your antennas go up on everybody we bring in, but don't no chick that you send no money to your antennas go up.
But that's not
your antennas is fucked up, man. You got some fucked up antennas.
And Darnell, you're simping for girls overseas or what, bro? You're simping.
This is the United States.
You like them women who say they got. Yeah, you them women that say they got women intuition, but they'll never work when it come with the wrong guy. Your intuition is all fucked up. And I hate to say that, but damn, man.
I wanted to say too. Is that I was on another live listening to some people, this couple in the Philippines, and one of the questions came up like about supporting the family and stuff like that. And I asked the question was like, so does because I'm looking at this guy's situation too. He's doing all the work. I'm basically, supporting and whatnot and helping out the chick. And I said, does the family look at you and hold you in a higher regard or put you on a pedestal, being that you're supporting and doing all this stuff? And the guy responded to me, and I said, man, this is really good. He said, it doesn't matter because as soon as you say no to any of their requests, they're going to hate you. And I was like, you have done 5 to 10 or 20 things before then, but you say no one time, then the whole attitude changes. And I think that's probably his case too, is that he hasn't said no.
He should have never started that ball rolling down the hill.
Hey guys, I just did a quick check. Google Fi does work overseas. It works in Colombia.
But it works as it would like a regular cell phone. Like you don't need an internet hotspot.
Ulysses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he never said his phone didn't work in Colombia. He said that if you can't, he was saying something about not being on a U.S. tower in 3 months or something like that.
Which is bullshit.
Stuff, but the bottom
line is bullshit.
It still works.
I don't know that, man.
Yeah,
I can't
Google
see
Fi
that.
works, but I'm sure she stole his phone.
No, but the thing is, when he was mentioning about
you're muted if you're talking and you want us to hear.
So here's the thing: I have Netflix, and people out of the country use my Netflix.
Yep.
And it will say after 30 days, it'll revert back and say you need to here where I'm at.
Log in,
Yep. And where I'm at in the United States.
Yep. So I'll tell her to hit the button, and I'll get the email, and I'll give her the code to log back in.
Yeah, well, that's Netflix. But I mean, I've been overseas with a overseas phone plan. I would be gone for a year at a time, sometimes more. And I've never hit an American tower.
Just to let you know that
on a traditional provider,
right?
Like this Google Wi-Fi and all this stuff is totally different. And that's the one thing too, is that when you lose your Apple phone, if your stuff in the cloud, it's just transferring it over. I don't know how that works with Google Fi phones. That's a totally different thing.
I'll be honest, I'm ignorant on Google Fi or whatever it's called, but I will say this is that, okay, he blocks and unblocks his card when he's making a purchase or at the ATM. But what if you're in a spot with You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't work.
Hindsight's
You see what I'm saying?
2020 now, Darnell. Hindsight's 2020. He's never been raised.
I'm just
He's never
saying.
been. He's never been robbed before, and that's what I was saying to everybody too. You got to give him some grace. It's like you don't. You know, you. We plan for these things on our short trips. It's like I plan for this contingency. I know this and that and the third. I'm gonna have the extra number. I got somebody I can call. You know, short trips. We probably plan like that, but we're talking to an expat who's been down there for a while, and his mindset is totally different.
Well, here's something we have to throw in, and this is kind of interesting. You know, he's in this polyamored lifestyle where he's getting involved with multiple women, yet he's interviewing women for a job, and now he's taking one of these women back to his place. I don't know. I'm not accusing him of anything, but it just don't sound right.
But it does, but it doesn't. But here's the thing:
interview location was closed. Remember?
Listen. He started off at the gym. He interviewed 3 women at the gym out of the 4. The 4th one was the one that kept on making excuses or having to postpone the interview. Finally, he said, "You know what? I got to go home, get to my dog. My dog's been in the cage all day. He needs a walk. So let's meet at my condo, which security getting in the gate. They got a resource room where they can do their meetings. So it wasn't in his apartment. But because they're doing construction, all of a sudden the resource room is now not available. So then he goes, well, I'm already here. She's already been checked in through security. Let's just finish it up in my apartment real quick. That's how that progression happened. It wasn't, oh, come over to my apartment and we're going to do the interview here.
Yeah, I know, but it just...
Why not postpone? I mean, what boss would want their employee to know where they live?
Well, he already questioned why he even gave her 4 times. So he was already kicking himself in the butt. Like, you can't show up now. What's going to happen when I hire you?
I think what the other gentleman, when he asked the question, what he was trying to get at is that he might have been, with the poly thing, he might have been thinking with the little head. I think there's more to the story. I don't think he was doing it just out of good grace. I think
he's a Captain Save-A-Hole personality, and I used to be the same fucking guy.
I agree.
I know this fucking personality.
Not a true.
No, I would literally jump in front of a fucking bus for a stranger. I am that dude. I felt like it was my fucking eat it to save anybody and everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I got that part, but it again, to me, it's just kind of suspicious.
Darnell,
to me, I mean,
how many sad stories have you failed for? How many sad stories have you failed for, brother?
Quite a bit.
Then if you
before we get to that, I just don't want to get derailed from, my point. The only thing is that let's say if this was a dude with a sob story, would he have done all this?
How many dudes get online and actually admit to things like this? Period.
He said himself that he took into account that she was a single mom with a kid. And he mentioned a child's name. He said, whatever the name, and he said because I think something. His
girl has a daughter.
Yeah, and he said I did it because of her.
Reminded him of her.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but would he have allowed a man say down on his luck? Single dad really need this opportunity.
Listen. Everybody in this panel has given a woman an extra shot more so than a man. So stop.
That's
everybody
very true.
No. Y'all are letting the man off too easy.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
We do it. You do it all the time.
Ronan's right.
How many times you see a woman begging for money and you like, I'll give her money because she got some kids, but you see the same dude on the street and you're like, yeah, well, he got to get a job.
Yeah.
We do it all the time.
Yep.
But you know what? Let's get it.
I've helped men too.
It's Jay Clyde is on the panel.
And I went up
in Medellin.
Yep.
He's in Medellin. He knows about these things. So we're gonna go ahead and bow down to the boots on the ground and the person that's been there as long as probably Black Man Travels, if not longer. Go ahead.
So Jay Clyde, I think
Black Man Travels got me beat on that.
Jay Clyde, I want you to tell us what's true, what's not true. Because you lived there, and so I know you put something to comment about Western Union. So Help us out with his story. What is the good, the true, and the untrue?
I mean, the first part, as far as what Darnell was talking about, I understood Darnell's question completely when he asked about why he didn't have a local phone plan. If you've been living here for as long as he has, because I think he said he lived in Colombia 5 or 6 years,
5 years.
he
Yeah.
should have a regular. He doesn't need to go through the whole prepaid or buy minutes for his phone. He could have a regular phone plan. They have phone plans like we have in the States with AT&T and the different where you pay by the month. He could have had one of those if he's that type of permanent resident here. He could have got one through Tigo or whoever and had an actual phone plan instead of going through buy minutes. That's the
But
first
with a
one.
lo-
So I understood Darnell completely.
Let him finish.
I just wanted real quick.
He don't let him finish. Let him finish, Darnell.
I'm going to let him finish. I'm going to let him finish.
You can't let him finish if you talking. Let him finish.
Let me finish, please. Real quick.
You interrupted
I just
him.
got to know.
How you gonna let him finish if you interrupted him?
Sir, I
You can't let him
apologize for
finish.
I apologize for interrupting you, sir. But just really quickly, I just want to ask you. The only thing is, with the local plan, though, like I don't think the American banking, though. Here's where I'm going to come to his defense: is the American banking. You know how they have to send the verification because he is correct on that. Would it send it to an overseas number though?
Most of the time, it probably won't because I think they have to send those with like the SMS type messages, and I don't know if that'll go through to a local Colombian number. I was just going towards your point as far as why you don't have.
You have to have a VPN in order to contact banks overseas.
Yeah,
or just get
in the
two
country
phones.
that you're in.
Or just get two phones.
Yeah, we have two phones.
Yeah.
I got my regular USA phone and I got a Colombian phone.
That's what I plan on doing in the Philippines, is having two phones.
Yeah.
One American phone that I probably won't be using, but I maintain my phone number. And then the other one will be the one I'll be using most of the time, which will be the Filipino phone.
Now we'll kill off another myth that goes on here because we hear all the Colombian stories and Chica Robbins and all of that. And people always say, and it's important, like get a building with security. But all of these stories that we hear, it's happening in buildings with security and without security. So it just depends on what type of relationship you have with the security. I don't know if he had a relationship with them or not, but there's tons of stories where girls they'll show their ID, get the photo taken, and still rob you. So the security really isn't that big of a buffer unless you personally are cool with like the security guys and they look out for you or something like that. So I just want to get that out there as well.
Jake,
And I will say,
my question is, I know they show security, but when I've been in hotels and brought people back, they copy their security. I mean, they copy their ID. Is that something they do there? Or is the person just showing ID?
They do both. Like the building that I'm at right now, like it's a security post. Like I kind of stay like in like a compound, so like it's a security post up front, and like everybody have to go through them. They take photos and they scan your ID, but I don't necessarily have to walk the person back out. Now it's cameras all on the property, it's cameras in the elevators. So I mean they can have the video footage, but a chick could easily come to my place and leave without me. But like I said, if you got a relationship with your security or something, you can give them a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, or you just give them the heads up. That goes a long way. But if you don't have any type of relationship and you're not talking with security, like, yeah, they can take the person's picture, they can scan their ID, person can come upstairs, drug me, and leave free. I don't have to go down with them. And I'm in a pretty nice area, but I don't have to walk out with them. Some buildings require that, though. So it just all depends on the building that you're in. Some buildings require you to walk out with them, or they require you to text the security to let you know that the person's leaving. And some of them would just let them come and go as normal. It all depends, too. Like if you're staying in buildings that's more local and it's not like one of these gringo friendly type buildings. If you're staying in a more local building, these are local people here. They're not concerned about all of this Chica drug and stuff. So it's not even on the radar to do all these extra precautions when visitors are coming to see you.
but and I have to say, with It's Great Guide, your point is really accented, because when I asked them about having a circle of friends, you would think your security is primary. You know, that you want to kick them a couple of dollars every once in a while, sit down and shoot the shit with them. And obviously he speaks fluent Spanish, so there's no reason why you wouldn't want to try to get along with somebody. And it just behooves me as somebody that's been in sales. It's not so personable in his personal life, but you can charm people on the phone or do whatever you need to do to close the deal.
And I was joking with a friend of mine. I was like, these security guards in these buildings, they hold all the secrets. So you might want to, you might want to be best friends with them. Like, even like if you're married or something like that, and you're doing stuff on this, you might want to be best friends with the security people, because I'm pretty sure that they see
everything.
They see everything. So it's in your best interest to get cool or be cordial with the security people.
I mean, people in your neighborhood, sometimes you kick the postman some extra ducats. You know, there's certain things you do when you in a community just because that guy's around you all the time. That person, you know, you go ahead.
It's one other point that I have to get at too, because I think I put it in the chat. Like, we still never heard how it got in the system, and that's the big thing with me. Whenever I give pushback on these stories, because I absolutely hate hearing people say it can happen to anyone, and we need to start differentiating. Like, if I walk outside and some guy roll up on a moto, yeah, that can happen to anyone. But somebody getting a drug or a substance in your system, that can't happen to anyone if you're on point. And I can speak from personal experience. Like, I grew up, I participated in an Olympic sport. I went to college, so I was always drug tested. And the absolute number one rule is you're responsible for everything that goes in your body. So I can promise you, you're not getting anything in my body
without me knowing about it.
It's absolutely impossible, unless I'm under the influence. Now, if you're under the influence, drunk or drugs or something like that, okay, I can get that. But if I'm sitting here sober, you're not spraying me. You're not putting anything in my drink. It's not going to be anything on your neck. It's not going to be anything. It's not happening. You're not getting anything in my body without me knowing. That's not happening.
Hey, Jay Clark, do you remember a few, was it last year? It was a brother, or he was on Raise the Raise, and he lives in Colombia, and he got scoped. And remember, he said like he ordered food, right? Him and the girl sat down to eat food. And I don't know, like he even got scoped. I mean, he's the guy who had like all this silver.
Yeah, the guy that had the gold coins and all this other stuff in his place. And then after he got scoped, he still wanted to stay in country. And he had some psychological problems VA-wise that he should have went home and took care of. Still didn't want to go home. I remember that.
A lot of the stories have elements of user error. And anytime someone points it out, you get accused of victim blaming. I really don't care about getting accused of victim blaming. If the story has holes in it, it has holes in it. The person was cooking for you, and they put scope in your food. So what type of shady person you had over there cooking food unattended for you? Like, a lot of these guys need to take accountability for having shady people around. That's the one. I can go to, I'm in dangerous Medellin that everybody's always talking about. Medellin is dangerous. Colombia is dangerous.
You're in the deluxe apartment in the sky. What you talking about?
That part too. But I don't have to go. I have a PlayStation 5 sitting right here that I'm looking at. I got a laptop sitting right here. I don't have to worry about any kind of Chico proofing or none of this stuff, because I'm not dealing with shady people. Period.
Thanks.
If you come down here trying to run up the numbers, you're increasing the percentage that you're going to get drugged. That's just it is what it is. So you can come out here, have all the fun you want. If you're trying to go through 15 or 20 in 4 days, 3 of them got something in the purse, and all they need is the opportunity to drug you, and it's going to happen. Period.
Hey, look, how long have you been in Colombia?
I've been coming here for 6 years, but I'm
have
here
you
like.
Ever? I'm sorry. Have you ever heard of this scopolamine being transferred via aerosol? Or
I've heard of it being transferred always. I've heard aerosol. I've heard people get in a jacuzzi and it get put in the jacuzzi and you get knocked out in the jacuzzi. I heard it in the drinks. I've heard of all the different situations. I've heard people get knocked out in a jacuzzi before. How the girl get it in the jacuzzi and she not get affected, I don't know, but I've heard that type of story as well. I've heard it all.
Well, you could take charcoal, and if you ingest charcoal, that'll stop you from absorbing. But that's usually if you take something orally.
I just have an issue whenever people try to blame the whole country because of their irresponsibility. Because Medellin is perfect. Medellin is perfectly fine if you're doing perfectly fine. And
Like I said, it's who you associate with, where you hang out at.
I agree.
Exactly.
You can't blame the whole country.
You can't blame the whole country because you want to be irresponsible, and then they come here, do irresponsible stuff, get drugged, get robbed. They blame the whole country, and then they want to run to Southeast Asia somewhere and talk about how much safer it is. No, they just want to go there so they can keep being irresponsible and not on point and have a lesser degree of something happening. So they don't want to fix themselves. They just try to go to a different location and keep doing the nonsense. That's what's happening.
The same thing happens here in Vegas, man. People come from out of town. They
Pickpockets,
irresponsible.
everything. Yeah.
They bring in these girls into these hotel rooms. A lot of these girls, some are legit, and some of them out to rob you too. So you can get robbed, drugged, same thing. They'll be walking
you have to be
out.
on point.
There was two girls just 3 months ago went into a hotel room with this Hispanic dude, put a bullet in his head, took everything he had.
Yeah, you have to be on point everywhere. So I don't know why people think, okay, Colombia is so much more dangerous. If I'm in freaking Aruba, I'm gonna have my head on a swivel. I'm gonna be on point everywhere I go. I'm not gonna be lackadaisical just because I'm in a different location. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm gonna have the same vigilance no matter where I'm at. I can be in Colombia or I can be in New Hampshire. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And think about this, even here in Vegas, man, we got more cameras than a little bit. I mean, the cameras from the time you go up into the elevator, they had cameras. They caught the girls, of course, because they got cameras everywhere. It's security everywhere. So you're gonna get caught 100% here, 100% of the time. But yeah, people still getting done in.
That's true. But a lot of times those situations here, it's a lot of times it's crime of opportunity. Like if you don't give them the opportunity, they're not going to do it. I have some friends that's cool with different types of chicas, and some of the chicas are into that, and they were straight open. And it was like, if we're given the opportunity, yeah, we'll do it. So if you leave that door open, if you're sitting here and you have some strange girl that you don't know at your place, and you leave that drink out and go to the bathroom, she might not even been thinking about drugging you, but you open that door and boom, there it is.
Now, he also said that after
something like that.
He said that after 6 months, you're unable to get like money through Western Union if you don't have a stamp.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. Like if you're here, I think it's 90 days. Once you're here past 90 days, they do check your stamp, and you can't transfer money to yourself. But even with that being said, if he has trusted people, like you kept pointing to, Fearless, he has two ladies, or I don't know how many. I know he said at least two. If you got two ladies, you should be able to Western Union money to them. He said he had access to his accounts, and his accounts weren't affected. So you should be able to. You can Western Union money from your accounts. If he didn't close, I don't know if he closed his accounts. So if you close his accounts, they give you all new numbers and stuff like that. But if he didn't close his accounts and his account numbers are still all the same, he can Western Union his girls. I don't know if they're his wives or girlfriends.
That's a good point, and that somebody we should have asked that.
Well, there's go ahead, Black Man.
This is outside of this particular topic here, but one thing I think a lot of guys need to be realistic about is that this whole poly thing in Latin America is not going to work. Like this whole, I know a lot of people.
We lost you a little bit, brother.
Yeah, your mic died.
Well, this kind of caveat on what he was trying to say, and that's what I was getting at, is you're promoting something that's going to attract.
You're blocking. Yeah, you're jumping in and out.
Right, man. Travels. You're dropping in and out.
Yeah, what I was saying is, the kind of caveat of what Black Man Travels is saying is that you're promoting this lifestyle to a bunch of people that may not be responsible or pretty much aren't responsible. And they're going to pick up these type of girls that's going to have this scopolamine and they're going to get drugged. And that's why I question him about doing this, lifestyle, especially in that particular country. I'm not saying the whole country's bad, but what we're seeing right now is a lot of guys is getting scoped or involved in this whole pay for play lifestyle. And now you want to bring in another sexual activity involved where now you're just making the chances great, for people to get scoped. And that's where I have an issue with that.
See, I think he was looking at vulnerable women because he said they in college, they didn't have nothing. And I think whenever you can get with a vulnerable woman, you can kind of convince her to do whatever.
Good point, Fearless. I thought the same thing. Good point.
That's true.
Which goes to say that maybe he might not be this knight in shining armor that he may have been trying to portray himself as.
No, I don't think that. I just think that some people, I don't want to say prey, but you look for that vulnerability. It's like if you're looking for, and I look for some vulnerability.
Then you're not a nice guy. You're doing it for. I mean, it's like a pimp, that helps these. That allegedly helps these women. It's the same thing. I mean, you can't say you're a nice guy and look for vulnerable people.
No, then what is it? A woman who always takes in the guy who don't have a job and that because she's like, I can build a bear. Is she looking for? Is she a pimp?
No,
it's the same thing with a dude. Then
no, but you said that he had. You suggested. Well, you didn't suggest, but you did say that he may have had ulterior motives.
Yeah, because what happens is if you find someone
that's different.
Down and out,
let them finish.
Down and out, and you're not that in the best. It's like, well, I can do this. I tell you what, we just had a conversation with this Rona Travels. What we say on the guy, I won't use. I forgot his name, so I won't use it. The guy that we were texting today. We said, I need a woman I can control.
Yeah.
So he's looking for somebody who's in that position.
Right. So you can't be a nice guy, right? You're looking for control.
A nice guy.
I mean, nice is perceptive. If you're an authoritarian type of mindset, then you're being nice. That's just who you are. You rock with him or you don't.
I mean, that's what it is. I just cut to it. Like, basically, here in Colombia, is beautiful women all over, some with money, some without money. So, like, if you get with some ladies that's, of course, they're going to be a little lower class than us if you're making U.S. dollars.
Right.
Like, I think he said they were younger. So, and he said he was paying for everything. So, you probably use that as leverage and you can get them to agree, okay, I date you and I date you. Like, that's why they don't have anything to offer now.
Thanks for stopping in, Passport Blueprint. Appreciate you, brother.
So at a time of need, he doesn't have anybody to support him because they really don't have anything going for themselves. And they probably just, it's a good life for them. They have someone providing for them, so they'll agree to anything. He probably can add 4 or 5 more, but it can possibly not go over well, like Kano was saying, because they're really not about that action in Latin America. And I don't know why so many guys are always talking about poly life when they can't even deal with one chick. So I see that question posed all the time about poly life, and they call it simping if you're doing good for your wife or fiance or girlfriend. So how they gonna deal with 2 chicks or 3 chicks? That's I don't know why they're always throwing those fantasy dreams out there.
And I just want to go back to what Fearless, had said earlier, just a minute ago. Like, okay, to use this example, all right, Ronan, I support Ronan's Philippines fund, right? I've been a huge supporter of his Philippines fund. Okay, I even encourage others to give to his Philippines fund. But Ronan, have I asked you for anything in return or anything of that nature?
No,
or not at all. Not even offline. Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's
that's not you asking. I just voluntarily help you do things or think about things. So, I mean, it's not necessarily reciprocal,
but that's my point. Is that I'm not doing this, for personal gain. You see what I'm saying? That's actually helping somebody. But when you're saying, okay, I'm looking for somebody downtrodden or whatever have you, you know.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, man. I'm not putting this stuff out there, but why is it the women that you talk to are downtrodden?
Dude,
Well, one of them, she lives in the.
Because hold up, if you met a woman who didn't need anything, you wouldn't have to give her any money. You wouldn't have to take her out. But why are you meeting women who are downtrodden?
Okay, and you know the story to that.
No, but why are you meeting them? Because of all the women you can meet, why are those the women you're attracted to?
Okay, and how did I meet this woman? You know the story.
No, in general, because
no.
Hold up. It ain't how you did it. I dated this girl, and I remember telling this girl, "You only date athletes," and she was like, "No, those are the only people who approach me." And I was like, "No, a lot of men approach you. Those are the only men that you accept. So you have vast women that you can talk to, but you only focus on the women who are needy."
No, that's not the case. You're trying to imply that, but since you won't answer the question, I'll go ahead and say.
Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. Wait. Let me say this real quick. There are plenty of women I could possibly be attracted to, or might even be attracted to me. But I'll look at them and say, "There's a fucking problem right there. I'm not dealing with that."
It has nothing to do with that. What I'm saying is how I met this individual. Basically, I had already been to her house long before anything about dating or getting together came up. In fact, I was engaged to her best friend. That's how her and I met.
You talking about the girl in Brazil?
Yeah.
I don't think you was talking about the girl that you fixed the car with, man.
Yeah.
Well, who says she's downtrodden? She had a radiator issue.
God damn.
She had a radiator issue. Okay.
Why you wait? It started off a radiator issue, but it became so much more.
What? Like
what?
what?
It needs to be changed. My tires need to be rotated.
Starter.
Oh, yeah, she did.
The starter.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't the starter. It's just the oil change, radiator. Hey, I did the work. God damn it.
You are talking to women who are in need, who are downtrodden, because a woman who has her own wouldn't be asking you to take care of any of that.
Well, I mean, just because your car is fucking up. Everybody know women can't take care of no damn car.
So, were you taking advantage of her because she was in need?
I sweat like a damn hog changing that goddamn radiator, and so, that was hard work.
And so you expected something after doing all that hard goddamn labor and sweating, huh?
No, he went ahead and took out heat after that.
Oh, I took it heat. Yeah, he took it heat.
I can't even say the goddamn name.
Yeah. Bought a radiator, oil.
I have never been to Foco. That's why I can't even goddamn say the name. I ain't never been.
Fogo de Chao.
Never been there.
Here's the thing. Usually if I do that for a woman, she gonna cook for me. She gonna take care of me because I've done all my hard work. You did the hard work and then you rewarded her by taking her out.
Yeah, you would think she'd reciprocate, like, let me cook this man a meal or something while he out there working hard. Hey, Darnell, I bet you, let me ask you this question. Did she even bring you some water when you out there sweating?
Nope.
Wow.
Was this in Brazil or in the United States?
This is in the United States, in Arizona.
In Arizona. She didn't even bring him a glass of water.
But he got gussied up for her, shaved his beard, finally cut his hair, all that good stuff.
Oh, man.
You know, I'm trying to make a good impression, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the way I feel.
You did a damn good job at it, too. You did a damn good job.
Yeah.
I'm saying the same thing to you, Darnell. There is a certain type of woman that you attracted to. A woman who is in need. And you feel that you can fulfill
a friend
it.
Indeed.
Yep. And by fulfilling that need, she's going to like you.
Yeah. In her case, the woman that I did the radiator job for, in her case, she's, in time she's going to be going places. I could tell. She's
But
a
she's
hard
not
worker.
taking you with her.
With you
No,
or somebody else?
I ain't gonna lie to you. More than likely, it's gonna be with somebody else.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying though, like this ain't a case of okay, this is just some bummy bitch or anything. Pardon my language. You know.
Hey, brothers, I'm gonna drop down, man.
All right, Drew.
Listen,
Thank you
and
very
listen to
much.
y'all counsel, Darnell.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you started it off. You like to throw shots and then disappear like that ninja emblem you got up on your.
Yo, salute Jay Clyde, my brother.
All right, salute, man.
Jay Clyde, how would you want a guy to move in Colombia? What's the best way for a long-term guy that's looking for something a little more serious?
Yeah, that's why I was about. You have to break it into categories because I know people come for different reasons. So if you're just coming to have a good, fun time for a few days, you're those are the people that have to worry about the increased percentages of the druggings and robbings. Now, if you're trying to set up shop and stay here for a more permanent or longer term basis, you just have to properly vet out the proper person and you'll be okay. Colombia is just fine. Like any of the people that's talking all that other stuff, they're hanging with shady people, going to shady areas. I don't go to shady areas here. I go to nice, fine restaurants with fine Colombians. Me and my girl, I've been with my girl here for like 4.5 years.
Congratulations.
So I'm not out here trying to run up the
When,
numbers.
when's that ring coming?
Yeah, it might be sometime soon. We'll see.
I saw you had some fam down there with you too.
Yeah, that was my parents came down here. So yeah, I feel safe enough in Medellin to invite my parents here, and they were here for 2 weeks.
I'm saying you got the parents meeting the girl now.
Yeah,
you know
that was their first
that
time.
almost was a knee time for that opportunity right there.
Yeah, that was their first time meeting her on that one. So
I think you holding out. I think you dropped to one knee already. You just
not yet. Not yet, but it probably happened. But yeah, just to answer the question, like, yeah, it just all depends on, you have to be true to yourself, like what your purpose is. If your purpose is to come here and run up the numbers, you have to understand that it's risk with that. If you're coming out here trying to have a relationship, it's going to be risk with that too, because I'll say it all the time, you either need to live here, visit here, or visit here very often. Like trying to just keep it long distance for a long time, it's going to be very difficult to maintain. And I saw somebody put in the chat where they said long distance relationships don't work. I get it, but you got to have a plan though. Like you're not, it's not going to make any sense to try to do long distance for years and years and years. Like I did the long distance thing, but I lived in Florida and I basically was out here every month. So anytime people always ask me like, Jay Cloud, how do you have a successful relationship in Colombia? It wasn't easy and it was time consuming because I understood that you can't come out here 2 or 3 times a year and think that you got a girlfriend. Like you're going to have to live there, be on a track to live there, or visit very often. So with me, I was visiting very often. And just to give you an idea of how often I was visiting, like I met my girl in November of 2020. So between November of 2020 through 2023, I pretty much came to Colombia every month, except for maybe 2 or 3 months.
Damn, you stamped out a whole book just going down to Colombia.
I actually did. I had to get a new passport because I ran out of pages, and I still had 3.5 years left on my passport, but I ran out of pages because I had too many stamps. But I came out here every month for 3 years, except for maybe like 2 or 3 months. And then my situation changed with my job, so I was able to be out here on a more permanent basis, starting as of last year. But yeah, so I always had that plan to eventually be here. But yeah, that would be my advice. Like you either need to be here or come here a lot or have a plan to get here for a long time. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense to
agree
have
with
a relationship.
That makes sense.
But I'm not one of those that believes like long distance relationships don't work, because me living in Florida, I could get to Medellin in 3 hours. It'll take me longer to fly out to Arizona or California. If I'm living in Florida, they're not going to say anything.
If you're talking to them on a regular basis and you're like, well, I'll be there Friday to Monday. It's almost convenient for you. And I know out of Florida, a lot of the prices are so cheap that I'm like, man, that's better than a date. It's much easier. You don't have to stress during the week time.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. So like the flights weren't that expensive, and like I said, it's a quick turnaround trip, and my work schedule was cool. I get a lot of work hours. So at the time I was working 4-day work week, so I made it work. But like even I knew like even going there every month pretty much for it might be 4 days here, 5 days here, a week here. I still understood like that's still not enough, but it was enough for us to hold on to the point where we're at now. So it's all good.
Have you seen that documentary from Vice? Or Vice did an episode on the passport bros in Colombia. Did you see that by chance?
Oh Lord, yes.
Yep, I see everything. My nickname is Ghost. I'm everywhere. I see everything.
So what was your opinion of that?
I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I just think it was a lot of BS in there. I don't even have to get into the whole thing as far as they're like trying to hijack the movement and all that. I just think some of the stuff that those guys were doing in there was stupid.
The only thing I was going to add, because it's like, to me, everyone likes to talk about, I go overseas because I'm looking for, a wife, and, I can't find that in the States or whatever have you. But then, like, when you look at how those guys were interviewed, right? No, man, those guys were lying motherfucking.
That's the problem. That's the problem with that. That's the problem with that statement, and it's not Colombia specific. It's just in general. Because we see guys all the time talking about that they want to travel overseas to find this wife or whatever.
All that.
And they're not being truthful, because they're just not being truthful when they're saying that. Because for one, most guys don't have the skill set to live overseas for a long time. And most guys, and I know you all heard this before, they don't believe in bringing them back to the States. So if you don't have the skill set and the capability to live out of the country with your work, and you don't believe in bringing them back to the United States, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that was brought up on another panel we had.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, I have, again, and it might just be the government contractor talking here, but I have heard from other guys, they were always saying, don't take her back to the States. Yeah. And this was long before the passport bro move.
Listen, this is my.
So I gotta ask you, Jay Clyde. You've been with your girl 4 years.
Yep.
Would you have a problem if you took her back to the States?
And that's the point that I was about to get into before you even asked.
Let's get it.
I mean, I don't believe in that whole thing as far as don't bring them back to the United States. Mm-hmm. Now, what I do it in my situation, probably not. But it has nothing to do with all of that stuff that you hear guys talk about. Like, for one, my girl is perfectly happy here in Colombia. She doesn't really have any interest in living in the United States. But fellas always talking about you bring her back to the United States, and their fear is that she's going to get Americanized, or like somebody's going to take your girl. I mean,
well, let me rephrase it for you, Jay. How about this? You get married there. Mm-hmm. Would you get your girl like citizenship, American citizenship? So then she could travel to the United States whenever you travel to the United States.
I have no problem doing that. And I'm not one of those that I don't have an ego problem where I'm worried about my girl going to the United States and getting Americanized or somebody taking her. Like, that's not me. My only issue with having them in the United States, is them just being homesick from missing their family so much. Correct. But I live in Florida, so if that's the case, I'll put you on an airplane, go hang out with your family for a month. Boom, that's good. Now, if you live in Topeka, Kansas or something, it might not be that easy. But what these guys are talking about is a whole ego thing.
I don't even know about Topeka, Kansas.
I've been everywhere, man.
It is the capital.
I played a sport.
That's right. You ran track. That's right. You ran track. Yeah. So I get it.
I've been everywhere.
Yeah, I know about. I mean, I grew up in Kansas. So I know.
Yeah. Like, so that's the whole thing. Yeah, so I'm not really concerned about the being Americanized or somebody with bigger money is going to take your girl. I'm not really concerned about that. It's more
Big
so
bank
just
take
business
little bank.
family. Yeah, big bank take little bank. That can happen. That can happen anywhere. Like guys
Mhm.
always just projecting their insecurities on others, and
See, yeah,
yeah,
and
and
we
the same
talked
way.
about that, Rona, about who I'm supposed to debate. That's an issue he got.
Yeah, they do that a lot because you hear the same thing whenever he's talking about the long distance relationship things. Like guys' egos just they know that they're doing dirty, so they're automatically thinking like she's doing dirty too when you're away. So that's their
Mhm.
that's just in their brain because they know deep down inside they're feeling guilty for what they're doing. So they just automatically assume. And then I still say the same thing. Your wife or girlfriend can be cheating on you while you're under the same roof together. So it doesn't matter if it's
Yeah.
distance. You can be in the same house and they can be cheating on you. So it's just guys work
Xavier
different.
Worthy, he found that out.
Yeah,
Girl cheating with the trainer. You know?
exactly.
But at the same time too, with the again, like I said, I heard these stories long before the passport bros. But like a lot of times, it wasn't even that they were concerned about their wives leaving them once they got to the States, because of another guy. A lot of times it was because the way they would say it is what's going to happen is, and they were really speaking about Ethiopian women for the most part, but they were saying you bring them back to the States and then they start making friends with other women and this like that, and get to talking. Oh, girl, you do that for your man? Oh no, that's not how things work over here. And
That's a woman that doesn't have her own mind. And why
Listen,
would you settle down with that?
listen. I'll just use it on a elementary level. So let's just say, yeah, because that's another one of those ego things. And if you're running your household correctly, and if you know the type of person you're dealing with, that's not a concern. So
yeah.
let's just say I got my wife or woman or whatever in the United States, and
Mhm.
we're staying at La Quinta Inn every time we travel somewhere. We're staying at La Quinta Inn, and I have like relatives or as other ladies there in the United States, like, girl, why you letting him take you to La Quinta Inn? You should be staying at whatever Hilton, whatever like that. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm not really worried about her becoming Americanized based on what other people are saying. Like you got to know the person that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, but how the military is. There's always stories and things of that nature. That.
You're not going to convert somebody that's living under my household like that. Not on something basic like that. You're not going to convert them. They're going to be vetted
Yeah,
out strong enough. By the
yeah,
time that they're living with me under the roof in the United States, they're going to be thoroughly vetted out. Where I'm not
Fact.
something like that. I just think guys just want to keep like the word of the night downtrodden. They want to keep them in a downtrodden state. I don't see
Hey,
any
man,
problem
brother,
with
you
having your
get it.
foreign girl being elevated in the United States. I don't, like I said, me personally, I wouldn't. I'm not planning on living in the United States with mine, but I'm not against it. I'm not one of those that's against it. Like, why would you want to have her held down when she can come to the United States? I think Fearless, you said like your wife like went to college and all that good stuff. Like, why wouldn't you want
Oh, brother, that was
that?
mandatory. She came here and they're like,
Yeah,
yeah, your college degree ain't gonna work. we need to
yeah,
get you
like,
that. And it was immediately like, let's get you a master's degree. Because I always looked at it like this: if I already know who I am, and I think a lot of guys aren't secure who they are.
Facts.
I have to elevate because I need her. You know what? I tell you what it is. Maybe it's because of how I work. I'm not a manager. I'm a leader, and as a leader, you empower the people who are under you. So I do not want to be micromanaging anyone. I want to empower you so that you can actually take the load from me. I want to be able to delegate. That's what a real leader does. He delegates things and says, do that. But the guy we were talking to before, he's like, well, and I've seen this, like, I don't want it to work. I don't want to do things because they're so afraid that they're going to lose control. And it's more about control than love.
that's true.
And I don't understand it. Like you said, if you're going to do it, she's going to do it.
I agree with you, Phyllis, because most guys they just want to they operate into it like a European controls, mindset. So they've been so psychologically demasculated in this westernized system where they operate like they oppressor. So they want to go overseas and go get a woman that's gonna operate like they did in the slavery days, where you do everything what the slave master told you, and then you gonna if you don't do what I say, then you can't be my woman. Which I always tell
Yeah.
guys, I say you shouldn't go look for that. You should go look for someone that's gonna be corroborative. That y'all gonna get money together. Y'all gonna build a foundation. Y'all gonna build a future. That should be the ultimate goal. You trying to find a woman that's gonna be like back in the 1800s. Like, bro, this is 2025. Like, people
Mhm.
change throughout time.
Hmm.
Most guys. I'm pretty sure most of us is probably like over 30 some years old. We ain't the same person we was when we was 18.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So how can you expect a woman here or over there to be the same as back in the 1800s? It's not. It's not. People go through experiences and challenges in life, whether if it's financial, whether if it's through the economic system, whether if it's with their family, with their relationships. You can't expect every girl just to be that type of submissive or that whatever. I want control over your reality. That's the problem with a lot of our brothers got. We want control over somebody's reality where we should be trying to build and try to gravitate, our lives together as oneness. We don't operate like that. And also we let other guys tell us what we should be looking for when you a grown man and you know what you want and you should operate in what you want and not let somebody else tell you what you want.
That's true.
Yeah.
But a lot of
So,
men don't do that.
and one more thing with the long distance relationship, long distance relationships could work. It's just it depends on the person. The person has to be fully committed.
Hmm.
Because even if y'all short close, because I could pretty, I know y'all could attest to it that we all been in relationships where we was like with a girl that was close by, and even that one didn't even work. So whether she's close by or long distance, it could not work. It all depends on the person and the character of the person.
Yep. That's
Communication
a
is the
good
core of
word.
everything.
That's a good word. Character.
Yeah, character. Yeah, it all depends on the character, and communication is the center of all that. No
Hmm.
matter if she's close or far, you got to have communication, and without communication, ain't none of that's gonna work. I don't care where she at.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And then on that point too about the long distance relationship, like I mean it is different elements, just like you said, like if you're close, relationships when it's people that's close don't work. But like it's other elements in the long distance relationship that you have and those that you don't have. In the close when you're in close proximity to somebody that can bring you closer together too. Like I know it was examples like early on in my relationship. Like we knew we were apart from each other, but we still tried to do things to like interact, just not just like video calls or text messages. Like my girl found like some type of app. I don't know what type of app it was, where it had like listings of like movies, and we would sit there and like watch a movie together. Like we could voice chat through the phone while we're watching the movie together.
Yeah.
So like it's all kind of like different things you can do. And then also too, when you finally do like the time that's spent together when it is long distance is more of an appreciation. So it's different aspects at play, but I don't know how she found that app, but that was a pretty cool thing that we did as well.
Yeah, and another thing is, it's like why people are even on these long distance relationship dating apps anyway. If you're not gonna put the effort to even try to meet, like, uh, I had an incident where I met a lady online, and she was international, and she was like, "Oh, well, you don't stay close to me." It's like, well, this is what the dating app is. We're supposed to be meeting people far away so we can plan and meet in person, not someone that lives next door. You should have went to a more domestic app to meet another man. Like the mental aspect of the dating is just all messed up. Like, why are you even on here if you're not trying to even meet? It
Yeah, it
doesn't make
definitely takes
sense.
yeah, it definitely takes work on both parts though. It's not simple, so I won't ever gloss over that. It takes time and work on both people's
Yeah,
sides.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it starts like from the mental. Like you got to understand, like these are two different lifestyles, and y'all have to build together. So that
Exactly.
way, yeah, so that way y'all can, both get what y'all both want because y'all on different sides of the world. This
Sometimes I
is
think a
why.
LDR is better because it takes you time to get to learn the person's mentality quicker than getting physically involved with them and not ever
Right.
learning who that person really is mentally wise, and
Yep.
their thought process, their goals. You don't take the time to even talk about that stuff when you're so engrossed in lust because she's sitting there right in front of you. You don't even talk about those things. You start assuming a whole bunch of things because you want the shit to work at that point.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
true. That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, what is her motive too? Because if she's in a rush to just get in your pockets, or
Right.
she in a rush to like, add you to her little sugar daddy list, or she just trying to peek what your mentally is. That's the reason. I call that like a red flag. Because if she's rushing you, like, oh, when you gonna come? When you gonna do this? When you gonna do that? It's like, okay, hold on now. We just met. Calm on down. You
And
know.
that's part of the vetting process too. Like I'm
Yeah.
yeah, you can tell if somebody's in it to try to just get stuff from you, or you should be able to speak for myself. But like, yeah, that's just part of the vetting process. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but my
Absolutely.
point. Yeah, but my point is I know that, but I'm just saying, like, if you're on here, the purpose on here is because y'all not close by. So this app is created for people who live farther away, so y'all can connect. Yeah, you got a vet, but I'm just saying, like, for on her side, she should come to it in a perspective, like, okay, this app is created for me to meet a guy that's not here, not close to me in my country or whatnot, and let me try to expand my options.
Right.
But they don't think like that. They just go in there like, okay, let me just see how I can make an income. They look at it as an income at more so than try to like see the future or build for the future. Basically, is what I'm saying.
oh yeah, you just
I
have to
I
weed those
I,
types.
I think it's a combination of both. Yeah, they'll build up a roster, right? Of dudes, but at the same time, let's say some rich dude, say in London, hits her up or whatever have you. Maybe she's waiting on holding out for that dude. Uh, but I think it's a combination of both. I don't think it's just one or the other. When it comes to women.
Yeah, it could be both, but at the same time, it's like at that point you thinking like, well, shoot, she just keeping her options open and she just trying to add you to the list. Like I said earlier, she trying to either add you to the sugar daddy list or she just trying to see how your pockets looking or whatnot. Cause you're not really in it for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, because you also got to remember too, and I think deep down, I think women know this is that the clock's ticking. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
it's like they're not dumb. They're definitely not dumb. You know, so that's why I say it's both. Okay, hey, until I find Mr. Right, I'm just gonna build a roster full of dudes, and then whoever's the best one, I'm just gonna when the time comes, all right, I'm gonna pick one. If I didn't find that guy that I'm looking for, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's an
But
automatic
what-
red
but
flag if
but
they
would
just
you
start asking
but
you
would you
stuff
was
early.
would you would say that the woman that's quote unquote clock is ticking, is that the girl with with all the kids in her 40s and her 30s, or you just saying that that's just in a woman's mind in general, whether she's in her 20s, 30s, or 40s?
I think it's on our mind in general. Well, let me correct that. Before, I would say after, I would say in their late 20s, their level of thinking changes because they're not, they're competing with, uh, there's a new woman that turns 21 every day, right? So they're
Right.
competing with that, and they're not, their matches or guys trying to hit on them start to go down a little bit, and I think that they pick up on that, like, hey, and that's when they realize, okay, the clock's ticking. Like, one time I was, I picked up this woman out of Scottsdale, Lyft driving, and taking her home. This chick practically broke down in my car. She was with a couple. She was with another couple. They shared a Lyft ride home. So I dropped off the couple, and then she was all smiles and everything with them. But then when they got out the car, she just got depressed. So I'm taking her to her house. She's talking to me. She's in her 40s. She didn't even look like she was in her 40s. But she said, yeah, she was like 46, and she was like, I can't find nobody. She had a doctorate's degree. She was a cancer researcher. No kid, never married, no kids. Couldn't find anyone.
Why don't you run up on her then?
Well, I mean, kind of late now, but
That is kind of sad that a 46-year-old can't find her husband. That's especially if she look real good, like she in shape, she got her mind right.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I think she had some plastic surgery though, but
well.
I'm not sure. I didn't ask, but I mean, she was looking good though.
It's the older they get, the higher the expectations and the lower their willingness to compromise.
Well,
I thought it was the other way around. To me.
Yeah, it is. That's what I thought too.
You would think that, but think about it. You got a woman who makes more money. So you got a 20-year-old who making $10 an hour. Then you got a 30-year-old who making $50 an hour. So now, the 20-year-old was fine with somebody low. That 50-year-old is like, I need somebody, who has this job to making what I make. They have a car, they have a house, they're established. So their expectation rises and rises as they get older because their wealth and things have risen. And a woman didn't want to really date below.
I think that depends on where the girl's located, honestly, Fearless, because I don't met some older women that didn't really have those expectations. They just wanted somebody to be with because they ain't been with somebody for so long. I mean, they ain't had nobody in their life for so long. So it's like it just depends on where she at. Like maybe if she like in the States or the UK, yeah, I can understand they probably got those type of standards because that's just the standard in the Western society anyway. So they just adopted that standard. But as far as like other places, it's like some of them just want somebody because they ain't probably had nobody in 5, 6, 7 years, or they husband was with died and they widow and they need somebody, and they've been depressed for so long. It could be that too.
But what? So tell me a woman who got that kind of money who going to date somebody below. What culture is that?
They could be in plenty of cultures.
Yeah, the UK. Matter of fact, in the UK, for example, they actually had a documentary. A lot of those older UK women that were divorcees or never married, in their 40s, they're going down to Kenya getting some young African boy, fresh out of high school.
I mean, I've been when I was in Africa. When I was in Africa, I was in a relationship with a government official, so she was making a bag. So it just depends. It just depends on her mentality.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember, Fearless, when your options start to dwindle, because even though you're making that kind of money as a woman, you're making that kind of money, you would think, logic would dictate that, yeah, she's gonna want to do, at a certain standard, but she can't get that dude. Why? Because that dude, what I'm saying? He's on a plateau. He has plenty of options, and that very same guy, even though she wants that kind of guy, every woman wants that guy, and those guys are rare.
Yeah, so, you also got to think like in these other countries, the population is like 200 mil, 300 mil. So it's like the percentage of guys that's making that type of income that her standards ain't gonna be there unless he coming down from UK or unless he gonna fly all across the ocean from the United States or Canada. Other than that, she gonna have to find something like within the country or something that's available because their population is twice as much as here, and that's just one country. That ain't.
You say she got to find someone. How many of these women just choose to be alone? They not finding someone. They just like I'm by myself.
There's a few of that, but from what I hear, and again, this is just what I hear. A lot of it is, a lot of it is cap, and I think even Miss Georgia, she actually spoke on that on one of the Thursday night therapy sessions. I think she actually spoke on that.
We've seen a lot of those women who just alone. They just can't. They say they want to get someone, but that attitude that they've had for so long, they can't adjust to anyone. So they may date, they may go out, but they can't settle down.
Yeah, I mean, you got those ones that do want to be alone. That's true. But at the same time, you got to think like the population ratio is the problem too. Because like I said, in these countries, you got 200, 300, 400 million people, and it's like if most of the men ain't really making it, or even the guys that's on her level, they probably like got 8, 9 wives. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
She probably don't want to be the 10th wife. She probably want to be maybe the 3rd. So you got to play that in effective, and then some of them want to just be the first. So it's kind of a conflict when we talking about like third world, second world countries and how they move, because they don't move like how we move here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's a lot to take place at the same time.
All right. Well, man, I think we had a great conversation tonight. I think we're gonna wrap it up. We almost at 3 hours. We had my man on, and he talked about his thing. So please, if you guys get a chance, donate some money to that brother. Help him out, because you may be able to go down to Colombia, and he may tell you something that you've learned from his lesson. It's always best to, if it costs you $5 to learn from his lesson, it's better than costing you your bank card and everything else for it. So that's always a good thing. We'd like to have some different people on the show, and I hope we can bring him back to talk about some of the deeper things that he discussed. Because I think that, he may have got scope, but I think the real story is why his behavior is like that, or why he feels the need that his value. And a lot of guys, some guys on this panel, a lot of y'all feel that y'all value is so low that y'all seek out a specific type of woman because of that. So a lot of us are guilty of that. So I think his story is great to say, as men, we need to value ourselves and what we do, because we add value. You got anything to say, Ronan? Ronan, is this your last show? Hold up. Is this your last show?
Last show in here. All this is coming down after this show.
So what?
Where you headed, Ronan?
I'm going to the Philippines, man, full time.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll be moved out of here by Tuesday. I'm going to spend a couple weeks with my mom. She just turned 81 this month, and then I'll be getting on a plane and going to Manila, starting off, and then further into the wilds of the Philippines.
So Ronan will be the thriller in Manila.
Hello.
Okay then.
Hello.
Well, safe travels to you, brother.
Appreciate that.
So, man, I want y'all to wish everybody put something in the chat wishing Ronan a safe travel.
Oh, I'm gonna still be on. Why are you acting like I ain't never come back?
We're gonna have a little hiatus. We're gonna have a little hiatus. We're gonna have a new setup.
It's gonna be barely noticeable. What you mean? I'll be in Kansas.
Gonna be noticeable. It's gonna be noticeable, brother.
On Thursday. I'll be in Kansas on Thursday. Don't worry about that.
How's it gonna be noticeable?
The whole thing is we're not doing Thursday night therapy session, but we will do a Lions Den next week. I'll be on that. I'll just be in a different environment. You won't see all of
the Philippines. It's gonna be nighttime when it's daytime here.
And I just have to adjust my schedule. Remember, hold on. That is the beauty behind being semi-retired. I don't punch a clock for no man. I punch a clock when I want to punch a clock. You get what I'm saying? So I can rearrange my schedule. Believe me, I'll be off. I'll be off of this right now. My girl's already texting me.
But I'm saying right now you got all that free time. You free time. And you go over there, your girl gonna be like, she gonna be like, Poppy, we got to go somewhere for breakfast and lunch, and at that time she gonna have a lot of your time, Ronan. Now I know you saying that now, but
You'll be all right, Ronan. You'll be all right.
I already know. I know he trying to make too much. He over there with baby duties right now. He's hating. That's what he's doing. He over there with baby duties.
How's the Wi-Fi? How's the Wi-Fi over there?
Oh, it can be crappy sometimes. So why you say R.I.P. Uncle Rona? I ain't going nowhere.
They say you're gonna get tied up over there, Ron.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the point. That is the mission, right?
Hey, Ronan, I will say though, salute to you on that, man. Like you did the right way. Like you were patient with it. You didn't rush into anything because it's a lot of logistics and stuff that you have to deal with when you're going out of the country that people really don't talk about. It's not as simple as I got a remote job. I'm about to pick up and go. Like it's a lot of stuff that people don't think about. Because I just went through all of this last year. Like it's a lot. But luckily for me, like I'm still close with like my parents and whatnot, and I got friends and stuff back at home. So I do have that support system back at home. But I understand a lot of people don't. But there's a lot of stuff that you don't even think about when you're out of the country, that you still have stuff going on back at home that you need people to handle for you too.
Absolutely. So I took my time, and I'm just looking forward to the next transition, man. I've been wanting to travel for a while. I was traveling initially, and I blew out my knee. I have a torn MCL that still has not been repaired. So y'all don't know what pain is. Both my knees have no cartilage in them.
Oh God.
So
I used to work with guys that had that type of problem too, and they was from the military, and I seen the guy knee was like separated. He took the wrap off. It almost made me throw up, man. How bad it looked.
Yeah, man. So
basically, you're not getting down on one knee to propose, I guess, is what you're saying.
Oh, I can get down there. Right. You already know. I just listen. I told my brother the other day, I said, I'm going to the VA real quick. He said, what you doing? I said, I got 2 shots of full steroids up in my knees, man. I was like, fuck that. I'll get the operation overseas. It's a lot cheaper to get it done. I'm arguing with the VA left or right. I can get referred out to community care a lot faster in Manila. And because they do have a VA over there. That's why I'm going to go to Manila first. I'm going to get indoctrinated into the VA system there and make sure everything's good. I got my FMP, Alex. So there's the FMP, and there's something else I needed to do. Alex and Miley. Alex is a veteran over in the Thailand. Sorry, and he has a nice show. I don't know if you knew Jiu-Jitsu Passport, but he's changed his name a couple of times. But he's a great supporter and somebody I look to as experienced. He said the No Names team member. So, and he practices jiu-jitsu. So he's over there getting twisted up because that's the one thing I know about as a fighter. Your knees and your power come from your footing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when you lose your knees as a fighter, when you lose your knees and the ability to use your knees in order to conduct that power from the ground upwards and out, man, it's devastating.
You're tall, aren't you, Ronan? How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Well, you know why you're so tall?
Oh shit! Here we go. What is?
Because you're Negroes.
That's funny.
Yeah, you got Negroes.
Oh man! Thank you very much.
Hey, Ronan,
the drum sound effect.
Hey, Ronan, they so feminine, man. She might propose to you. You might not even have to get on.
Believe me, the family's already ready for me, bro. So we've taken our time long enough. Like I said, the vetting process on that behalf and bonding and all the mentality part is good. So now it's just about finally putting eyes on each other and seeing how that progresses. You know what I mean?
Facts, yeah. Yeah.
But
that in-person connection is a whole different connection than video chatting and talking on the phone.
Yeah, both of my knees are service connected. I'm on 400% permanent and total, Alex. So I'm good. Lower back, all kind of shit happened to me in
about to say Vietnam.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about my uncle. My uncle's fucked up too, and he was in the Vietnam War as a Marine. So it was funny when I found my family. my uncle realized I was a Marine too, and that was a personal identifier for him. And our bonding time was the fact that we were both Marines, and had no idea.
Yeah, my uncle
Look at it.
he got paralyzed from the waist down when he was in the
Yeah,
when he was
that's
in the
rough.
military.
Yeah, I kind of had a death agreement with a couple buddies. If I was to have something like that to happen, just go ahead and finish me.
Right. Yeah.
But
Well,
anyway,
guys,
yeah, we talked
we
over.
hope that you know in a few weeks, sometime in April, close to May, we'll see Ronan in a whole different aspect. You know, I hope to get over there like in June once he settles in.
Yeah,
So
once I get settled in, yeah, definitely. I think I got appointments with you, Obstacles to Opportunity, who's right there in Thailand, and I think one or two other people already has said something about coming out.
Yeah.
Speaking of obstacles, you know why he can't?
Oh, sorry. I was about to say no. I don't want your daddy out there. So you got me traumatized. Every time you speak, I'm thinking you about to throw your dad on me. But go ahead, Jordan.
Nah, I won't mess with you on that one.
please
Yeah, I
don't.
won't say it. All right, but yeah. So you know why Obstacles canceled his show? He
just
put out
wanted
a
to take
message.
He just wanted to take a break for a while. Him and his girl, I think, are going to be going to Cambodia. So he's working on some trip planning and just doing little things. He just wanted to take a break from YouTube. So he said. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I thought it was permanent.
No, he came on the show a couple of times and sat on the panel with us.
Oh,
but he's
okay.
not doing his show anymore right now.
Yeah, that's a shame, man. I thought he had a pretty good program.
He does. He'll get back on it.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta,
Yeah, you gotta recharge. I get it.
Well, fellas, until next week, we won't have Thursday night therapy for 2 weeks. The doctor is her
But
brother's.
we will have a showdown coming up, probably around that time frame. We might do it not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
Is that going to be the Latin versus Africa?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm debating someone on the women who are more submissive in Latin or Africa. Latin America.
Y'all should do a stream on that because
we are.
Boy,
That's what we doing.
I want to pull up on that. I got a whole lot to say about that.
Well, hold on to it. Rona is going to take care of that and get it together. So in the next few weeks, it will be the fighting of the Latinas versus the spear chuckers.
So oh, god damn. You didn't do
it. Oh wow.
And this is going to be Friday's Lions Den.
No, this is going to be on Thursday instead of a Thursday night therapy session because Georgia can't be here. Not this Thursday. I mean, not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. Yeah, we're going to do it instead of a Thursday.
So it's called Latin America versus Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I got a whole lot to say on that one.
All right, well, save it till the end. Come back in a few weeks. And,
you know what? We might put a parameter if you want to have a team of 2 to 3 people on each side. I might give him an option if you want to extend that Fearless, so he can have a couple guns to come up because I don't want to say a person's name. So y'all will find out who it is, but I think y'all might even already know.
We had him on the show before, and he had a problem with the Colombia, and if he goes over to Africa, that it might work out.
Hey, drop that link, baby.
So, yeah, we're gonna see. Anyway, yeah, that's something to look forward to, and then of course we'll have Lions Den every Friday still. So, we appreciate you guys coming in and spending time with us. I know you guys have plenty to do on a Friday night, but at least you spent some time with us, and we really appreciate it. On my replay crew, smash the like button. Drop a comment. Appreciate you guys. And Fearless, anything else?
Nope. Until next time, we are out of here.
All right. Peace,
Gone.
brothers.
Peace.
Push the button.